engine, just getting started. Jack in my hand, nickel sand like the body. 95 South early in the dawn. Hit a button, drop the top on the steady on. To the sky from the ground, I'm away. GPS when you're lost on the ways. From the bottom to the top, blew a million. Turn around, headed home to put my city on.
Marlins, stand up.
We just getting started.
They don't wanna see it started.
We just getting started. We just getting started. Looking at my rear view and nobody in my way.
Hey, pleasant good evening and welcome to Marlins Park and Marlins Baseball here in Fox Sports Florida. Tonight, it's game one of this three-game series. We're back in NL East competition. The Philadelphia Phillies are in town. They're playing pretty good baseball this year. We're wrapping up April tonight against the Marlins, off to a nice little run themselves this week. And as you can see, the roof is closing. Some rain in the area. So we will play after wind was around. It was like a typhoon around here, but not anymore. The wind is closing. The windows will be closed for baseball. Good evening, everybody. Paul is off tonight. Craig Minervini in for the series. Pleasure to be next to Todd Hollinsworth. And nice to be talking Marlins winning 4-5 as we get into this series tonight, Todd.
Yeah, it's great to see. This pitching's been outstanding. They give themselves a chance to win. We talk about a Marlins way. Why not, right? New ownership, new ways around here. Well, so far in 2018, it's been about the pitching. And if the offense is going to be a little slow this year, you got to slow the other team down.
Good segue into our topics tonight. Dan Straley returning tonight. You waited for it. Had the injury situation in spring training. Marlins are happy to have him back.
Well, I'm really excited for Dan Straley tonight. Remember, he led this Marlins staff last year in innings, 181-plus innings last year. He was very reliable. We talk about this all the time. Managers love predictability. Dan Straley has been predictable every 5 days over the last 2 years. Last year, his first year with the Marlins, an outstanding year. I think when you look at what he did, gave him 30-plus starts. I think he may have some jitters tonight, but so what? Listen, he's got a good track record. He's excited, and he knows what's going on in this rotation right now. He wants to keep the line moving.
Now, here's the bad news of that equation there, and that is Jake Arrieta. But the Marlins actually did very well against him in his first start. This will be start number 5 for the guy who was a big piece. He was a late sign, a 3-year, $75 million deal in March.
Arrieta has not disappointed. 1.82 ERA. You see the numbers there. He's been outstanding, except for one start. Well, you know what? It was his first time out. I know Phillies fans are going to excuse it, but we're Marlins fans. We're not excusing it. Marlins did a great job that day. 75 pitches in only 4 innings. I think it's going to be the approach tonight when you see how good Arrieta's been to try to wear him down and drive that pitch count up early in this game.
Marlins have done a good job against a lot of big-name starters this year. You can go up and down the line, and now playing good baseball with their team back intact. Their 2 starters have returned the last few days in Chen and Straley, and tonight they'll go for a 5th win in 6. We'll have it for you next on Fox Sports Florida. get going in a few minutes. But first, let's go out to center field. Jessica Blaylock and Jeff Nelson with more on the Marlins captain.
Thanks so much, Craig. This past weekend was a good one for the Marlins. Not only did they take 2 out of 3 games against the Rockies, but Martin Prado returned to the lineup, and Nelly, he showed why he means so much to this team, both on and off the field.
Yeah, he does. You know, everybody wants their veteran back, and you hate being on the DL. And you get him back. This is his 3rd game back, and this is Saturday. You do see the defense that he plays. He had a day off on Sunday. The bare hand play there. He is healthy. The Marlins want to keep him healthy. They gave him the day off. Saturday, 2 for 4, 2 RBIs, and here's some of his ABs on Saturday against the Rockies. Here's a solid presence in the Marlins lineup. You know, you want that, especially at the top. He's a veteran guy. He plays 100%. We talked about Straley and Chen being the veteran presence in the rotation. The young guys learning from it. Well, the young guys like Brinson, you have Anderson. Who do you learn from in the dugout? Well, it's Martin Prado. Great to see him back as a Marlin in there at third base.
Certainly a good one to learn from. And for Prado, he says he is thrilled to be back in action alongside his teammates.
This is what you dream of, man. Doesn't matter how long you've been playing this sport. You've been playing it for so long. This is gonna be my 18 years playing baseball, so it's always really excited just to be part of the, it's just being blessed to play in the big leagues. I can be thankful.
2 RBIs on the season for Prado, a calming presence in that lineup. When we return, it's first pitch between the Marlins and the Phillies as they kick off a 3-game series here at Marlins Park, and it's Dan Straley on the mound for Miami in his first start of the season.
Getting set to start his 2018 season. He'll go up against a Philadelphia Philly lineup that looks like this, a lineup that has not really clicked yet. The Phillies have been winning based on their pitching. Cesar Hernandez leading off. Reese Hoskins, of course, the Marlins killer. Altero bat 4th, not getting going yet. Santana, big offseason pickup. Kingery, they like him a lot. He'll be over at short. Franco Alfaro, all in front of Jake Arrieta as we get going. And Dan Straley's first pitch of the 2018 season comes on April the 30th, and it is a strike.
Yeah, good to see Dan Straley back for the Marlins. Standing 2017 season. Led the Marlins last year with 181 2/3 innings. See his career numbers, very consistent with that. 4.26 ERA last year, 3.57 ERA at Marlins Park. And oh, by the way, he faced this Phillies team 5 times last year, so knows them pretty well inside and out. There's some numbers against him as well. And a couple of 10 strikeout performances against this Phillies team.
7th start overall. Gonna drive it in the air to right center field. Brinson moving over for the easy catch.
Let's take a look at the Phillies defensively for tonight's ball game, brought to you by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center. The Phillies, Hoskins will be in left, Herrera in center. Boy, he's off to a great start with the bat. Altair heating up as well. Franco at third base, Kingery at short, Hernandez and Santana, Alfaro behind the plate for Jake Arrieta.
And here he is, Rhys Hoskins. Todd, man, what a year he had last year against the Marlins when he came up. He's played in 13 games. He's been on base every game against the Marlins. Not to mention, as he takes the fastball, he has 8 home runs against the Marlins. Oh, 1 pitch, misses 1-1 to Rhys Hoskins. Yeah, that pitch is outside. Straley features an excellent change and slider. Those are his 2 best pitches, and JT Romero told me before the game he likes calling the game when Straley's on there because he commands all 4 of his pitches.
Well, typically, I think there might be some nerves here in this first inning. We'll see where he goes with it. Certainly Hoskins must be very careful with him. He's got numbers against him, 6 for 8 with 3 home runs. So he's already pitching him very, very carefully.
Well, Hoskins used to walking. He's already walked 23 times from the beginning of the season to now, and make it 24, and that ties Bobby Abreu for the most ever by a Philly player going back to 1913 through the end of April. 1913, that was.
Well, Hoskins has established himself as the #1 force in this Phillies offense. The #2 force is stepping into the box right now.
Odubel Herrera, he has reached safely in 29 straight games going back to last season. That's the longest streak in Major League Baseball.
A couple of walks yesterday.
Slashes that one, nicked the glove of Castro. Base hit to right, first and second Philly, with 1 out here in the first inning.
The Phillies offense rolling once again. Marlins and Phillies played earlier this season. Herrera did damage, Hoskins did damage. See this elevated fastball, goes out and gets it, lines it into right field, hit so hard Hoskins cannot take third base.
Philly lineup is kind of strange the way things have worked out. Top 3 hitting big time so far, then some struggles, including Aaron Altair. A little better of late, does have some RBIs though, so you'll take that.
Well, this is a situation you say, all right, he's hitting 200. Why is he hitting in the 4th spot in the lineup? Get this, runners in scoring position, 391.
He crushes that one to center field, but Brinson has got it, going back to tag is Hoskins, but he's not going to be able to move up. And that's the second out on a well-hit ball to center field.
Well, they are jumping all over Dan Straley early, looking to be aggressive. This Phillies offense, we're really getting anything out. Great. We're going to either have to speed up or pay closer attention. My goodness. Altair hit that right on the screws.
4 hitters, 11 pitches. And weren't you telling me that this is a team that has seen over 4,000 pitches,
yeah,
over 4 a hitter? I think it's #1 in the league.
Yeah, it is. This is well, and it's different. I mean, that's it. You know, they bring in a Carlos Santana who's done a very good job of this. Hoskins does it as well. In fact, they're leading Major League Baseball with 4.17 pitches per plate appearance. That's tops in baseball. Now, they haven't hit for nearly as much power, so I don't know if it's a trade-off. It's still too early to tell.
Well, so far less than 3 per batter, and that's a good breaking ball over for a strike. There's Gabe Kapler, manager, first year for the Philadelphia Phillies. He was under some heat early on, a couple of decisions. They were back page stories in Philly. Things have settled down, as has his team. They are 16-11.
Well, things have changed. We were in town to see the Phillies for their opener. Gabe Kapler was booed a number of times, and you were wondering how you know this new philosophy was going to work, how the Philly fans were going to take to it. Well, they're 15-7 in their last 22 ball games. I don't think anybody's complaining right now.
Not even a Philly fan
No.
would complain. Did lose the last two. But for a club that's averaged 69 wins over the last 5 years, this is a good start for them. Fouled away. Count stays 0-2. How important would it be to get out of this first inning scoreless for Dan Straley?
Well, listen, Dan Straley's a veteran. He knows what this is all about. But you breathe a little heavier in the first inning, no doubt about it, especially when it's your first inning of your season. So the Marlins have been out there. He knows these guys can play behind him. He's got good numbers at this park. He needs to execute probably a good secondary pitch right here.
Had 3 rehabilitation starts, 2 in Jupiter, 1 in Jacksonville. 0-2 pitch. Did he go? No, says the third base umpire Quinn Wolcott. Jeff Kellogg is the crew chief. He's behind the plate. Jeremy Rehack over at first. James Hoy called the action at second.
Talked about the secondary pitch we thought was coming from Straley. He threw a changeup right there. Check swing by Santana. That's the call. Dan Straley, fastball, four-seamer, slider, curveball, change. He loves to elevate the four-seam fastball just above that box you see. Kind of at Santana's belt buckle right there. He wants to go just above that box a few times tonight. Bounce the slider and the changeup down.
And a ground ball softly hit but foul. Derek Dietrich playing first base in the ball game. Took some ground balls. He's been working with Perry Hill quite a bit. Perry's working with a lot of players over there. First, I think 5.
Perry's working with a lot of players in a lot of different positions right now. Perry's earning his dollars this year.
He was saying
attaboy, Bone.
A few years ago, I think it was 2012, he said that he worked with 11 different Marlins.
Right.
As injuries happened during the season at first base.
Well, the word this year, the common theme is versatility, is it not?
1-2 pitch. That one again in the dirt. 2-2. Shift remains on here for Santana.
We'll see how confident Dan is. Now, we mentioned early on this Phillies team was being aggressive, particularly on the fastball. This is a great spot now for Dan to elevate with his four-seamer. He likes to do it. He can pick up strikeouts at the top of the zone. He's bounced his changeup and his slider down. He could go up right here.
Chop and nice play by Dietrich. Got a short hop at first, and yes, Dan Straley gets out of the inning with no damage. Marlins coming up when we come back. WB Mason, the official office supply company of the Miami Marlins. By Chevrolet, see your South Florida Chevy dealer today. By the Lincoln Spring Sales Event, drive in a spring in a new Lincoln. And by your local Toyota dealer, Toyota, let's go places. Hey, welcome you back. Mike Benavides for Paul tonight. Here for the series. Paul back with Holly on the road trip coming up as we look at the lineup for the Miami Marlins. And JT will lead it off. He'll be catching. Prado back in there. Castro, Dietrich, Anderson in the middle. Then you got Maben over in left field tonight. Rojas has had 4 homers. Brinson 8th. Dan Straley will get his first licks of the season. And Jake Arrieta, big signing for the Philadelphia Phillies. 32-year-old righty. Fastball away, and the Marlins will get their first look at Arrieta in late April. How'd you like their approach when they saw him that first start?
Well, they saw 74 pitches. It was impressive. Of course, I like to see Rojas going deep against him, and they did some things. Remember, it was a real big bounce back game. The Philadelphia Phillies had really taken it to him the day before, so getting back out there, kind of getting into a rhythm early. The Marlins did a nice job, jumped right out against Arrieta. Of course, he was making his first start, so there was a lot of storylines there. 74 pitches in 4 innings. That's what I took away from it, and he ends up getting a no decision. But still, listen, he's been on a roll. I mean, he last start against Arizona, 7 innings, 1 earned run, 107 pitches. He's kind of back in form now, but love to see the Marlins drive that pitch count out tonight.
Arrieta's 3-0 in his career in 5 starts with an ERA under 2 against the Marlins. Carlos Santana at first base.
Let's give the AutoNation scouting report of Jake Arrieta. He signed that multi-million-dollar deal March 12th. He has been worth every penny. Outstanding as a Philly, 3 quality starts, 3 wins, sub-2 ERA, and he's staggering. That's right, I said staggering. 2.39 ground ball to fly ball rate. Why? The sinker has been so very good. I'll tell you, the only other time he had a number that high, when I get to that 2.39, was in his Cy Young season of 2015. You're probably going to see a lot of that pitch tonight. Tools of the trade, Arrieta's sinker, as I just mentioned, it's been his go-to pitch. He's using it about 70% of the time. 92, 93 miles an hour. Hitter's only batting 186 against the pitch. As we talked about, that pitch count matters. See if the Marlins can't drive up Arrieta's pitch count early, maybe get him out of this game 5 or 6 innings.
Takes the breaking ball up high, 1-1 to Martin Prado. Started the first 2 games of the series against the Rockies, and then had the day off yesterday. Probably how Don Mattingly will work him. Start 3 or 4, give him, spot him a day here or there. 2-1 count on Martin Prado. Ground ball hit to Hernandez on the backhand, and 2 men away.
The Phillies defense is brought to you once again by Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Centers. All right, I should probably give you the Marlins defense right here. I've already given you the Phillies defense in the top of the inning. Maben, Brinson, and Anderson is the outfield for the Marlins. Prado, Rojas, Castro, Dietrich, Real Muto behind the plate for Straley. I had to do it, right? I had them backwards tonight for some reason. There you go, the Phillies defense and the Marlins defense.
See, without Paul here, you were thrown off, perhaps.
I don't know why. I had Phillies on the mind, and I rolled through it, and it wasn't until I got to Arrieta, and I said, wait a minute, what am I doing?
Here's that big breaking ball. Arrieta has been outstanding since that first start against the Marlins. And not that he was terrible in that one either, but the Marlins were able to chip away at him, and he had the 74 pitches. Starlin Castro, 1-1 count.
It was his first time out,
Yep.
Certainly the abbreviated spring training, and signed late, but again, got the multi-year deal to be the ace of the Philadelphia Phillies staff. Lefties hit 205 against him, righties 156. As I said, he's got the sinker. It's really been a huge pitch for him. It's going to hang out that 92, 93 range. Occasionally you'll see the big curveball. He's got a 12-6, doesn't throw it much, and he rarely uses his changeup, although it's been somewhat effective. He also has that super hard slider, 88, 89 miles an hour. Keep your eyes out for that.
2-1 pitch outside. 3-1 to Castro. Starlin has had a good season. He's hitting 292. I think he'd like to pick up his slug a little bit. He's got 4 doubles, no homers. He had 20 last year. You think that'll come?
I do. His track record tells us it will.
Hit that one well, right center field. Altair going back, and he can't get it. He slides out of the warning track, and Castro goes into second. Talk about slug. That's what we're talking about. 5th double of the year for Starlin Castro.
You ask and you shall receive, Craig. He said you need a little more slug. All right, how about this? But the Marlins putting 2 balls in the air. That's kind of a big deal when Arrieta's been getting tons of ground balls. Really nice swing. Listen, you want to elevate a tailing 92-mile-an-hour fastball, you've got to stay inside the baseball. You can't get out. You can't let that barrel lead the way. You have to let the knob lead the way. You saw it right there with Starlin as he drives it off the right field wall.
And here's Derek Dietrich hitting cleanup tonight. Justin Bohr still bothered by the back spasms. Could be available off the bench, though, in a pinch hitting spot tonight. That fastball is over, and Don Mattingly told us that he hopes to have Bohr in the lineup tomorrow, but we'll see. Meanwhile, with all the guys taking action at first, this is the nice thing for the Marlins, is they were able to mix and match and put the right guy over there because they have a lot of options at first base.
Well, the one thing that has been developing is the versatility of this roster. Guys playing different positions. It only creates a greater value for the individuals involved, being able to play multiple positions.
Hoskins is in a few steps in left field, straight away in center and right. Soft ground ball to first. Santana, an outstanding defensive first baseman, makes the play, and the inning is over. So no scoring in the first. We'll go to the second. We come back. For batting practice for much of the day, and about a half hour before the start of this game they closed it with some rain showers. However, the rolling windows are still open. That's a different combination.
It is. We haven't seen that before.
See what effect that has. The ball was flying out of here with the wind tunnel created with the windows closed. It was just reversed, actually. Popped up in the infield. You hear Prado calling, got it, in foul ground. He makes the catch. Let's go down to Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Craig, Brian Anderson once again making a start in right field. We've only seen him there for a couple of games, but Don Mattingly feels like he is holding his own. He says he's running really well. He's got a cannon for an arm. There's no reason that Brian Anderson should not be a reliable outfielder. And guys, another added bonus, anytime that you can keep both the bat of Brian Anderson and Martin Prado in the lineup, that is a good situation.
He's done a nice job out there. He's had obviously mostly routine balls so far, as Michael Franco takes one outside. Now he's using a glove there. He had been using Garrett Cooper's glove, and he thought about, can you see if the name Dean is on that? Because he thought about using his buddy Austin Dean, who was tearing the cover up. Be right under that W. I don't know if we have the angle on it, but either way, it's the outfield glove, which is a little longer, Todd, than the third base glove, about an inch.
Yeah, you got an inch or two out there, and you certainly want to have a little extra leather so you can make that great running catch in the gap. He's been on his game out there. He's a good athlete. This wouldn't be difficult. Don Mattingly, it's not like It's not like taking Hollingsworth out of the outfield and throwing him over at first base when he was 30 years old, scared to death. This is, you know, young player. He's done a variety of things. He's played the position. I know you got to go back a few years back to the college days to remember the last time he was out there, but really just getting to the athleticism part of this. It will get by, and it's a work in progress. He's willing to work at it every day. This will benefit him in the long run.
Back toward us and foul, 2-2. Now, what Mattingly's saying, he's probably got the best arm of all the outfielders. Is there a technique that he's going to have to?
Oh, he's going to have to learn how to use it. He's got a weapon. Yeah, you do. That starts, you know, you start down the path of footwork and timing and execution on short hops, reading the ball off the bat, how to get yourself into, I mean, it's a long one, but yeah, he's going to figure some things out.
That one hit down the line. Maben going over there, and it is just foul. That hung up for a while. Long way to go for Cameron.
Caught it off the end of the bat. It wasn't hooking towards the left field line. It was kind of fluttering down there. He caught it off the end of the bat. It was up in the air for a while, but almost perfectly placed for Franco.
Because of that, I thought it was going to stay fair. Normally you see that hook. And perhaps Franco did as well. Michael has also had a good RBI and productive start. 3 homers, 20 ribbies so far.
You know, half those ribbies came in the home opening series against the Marlins. 10 of them.
Yeah.
This bat woke up that series. 2 homers, 10 RBIs in the 3 games against the Marlins. First week of the season.
He led the Phillies, 24 homers, 76 driven in a year ago. Hit only 230.
It's a big year for him. He needs to kind of establish himself that he's part of the future. He had high hopes for him a couple of seasons ago when he was outstanding, putting up an 800+ OPS. Big power numbers, good RBI numbers, but a down year last year. I know he leads the team, but down numbers.
And that pitch just misses, that 3-2 pitch, so that's walk number 2 for Dan Straley. The Marlins are honoring the hard work of all nurses. Join us at the ballpark for Nurse Appreciation on February 11th when the Marlins take on the Braves. Purchase a ticket package, you'll receive a commemorative nurse's scrub top. To purchase, visit marlins.com/nurse. Jorge Alfaro, his 16th start of the year at catcher. Hitting just under 200, a couple of homers. Drives that one to deep left center field. Brinson going back, looking up, and it is gone. Jorge Alfaro with his 3rd homer of the year, and he jumped on that first pitch, that theme we saw in inning 1, and the Phillies have grabbed a 2-0 lead.
Well, Alfaro has had a slow start, to keep referencing the first series of the season, but boy, oh boy, he jumped all over a couple of pitches early on this season. He did there as well. 82-mile-an-hour breaking ball. Starts out just below the letters, ends up at the waist. Saw it, stayed back, and drove it out of here to center field. Pretty good look. He had some exit velocity.
Jake Arrieta fouls one back. He is no stranger to the long ball at the plate. He's at 5 career homers. Last one came off Ivan Nova in June of last season.
.433 feet for Alfaro. My goodness, 109 miles an hour off the bat.
And that's a spot we don't see a lot of home runs hit in this ballpark. Into the waves.
It is a long, long way. Yeah, Brinson isn't giving up on too many balls in the air to center field. I was watching him the entire time. Two or three steps. That was it.
3-1 fastball cut on a miss. 3-2 now. Another full count. First time through the order here for Dan Straley. Payoff pitch. Smacked under the glove of Martin Prado. It's a base hit for Jake Arrieta. First hit of the year.
3 consecutive runners reached. Bottom of the lineup. Arrieta, good hitter. It's a pitch he likes. Down above the knees. But drive it into left field. Turn this lineup over. Franco made him work. Drew the walk. Alfaro the home run. Now Arrieta the base hit.
And now Cesar Hernandez is up, 27-year-old second baseman. Well, so far Australia has thrown 34 pitches, 19 strikes, 15 out of the strike zone. That pitch is over. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Now, first time through the lineup, that really was his best pitch, the changeup. Good depth, good downward motion. Pick up some outs. Use it against the lefties. Cesar Hernandez, he's off to a good start this year. On base percentage up near 420.
Smack to short, could be 2. Rojas Castro to first. In time, 6-4-3. Double play. And that's a nice one for Dan Straley to get out of the jam here in the second. Phillies do score 2 on the homer by Alfaro. Through an inning and a half, they lead by a deuce. We go to the bottom of the second. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Miami Marlins, may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins. And we welcome you back. Greg Minervini, Todd Hollinsworth. You look at Jake Arrieta. There's a good story here with the Phillies owner, John Middleton. Todd, he's a friend of Jeffrey Lurie, the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Spent the Super Bowl in Minnesota, had some time and rented a house there. Watched the Eagles win the Super Bowl and started thinking, you know, how far away are we? We've been making this rebuilding process. Why don't we amp it up? And what happened the next month, March 12th, he goes out and spends $75 million on this man right here, Jake Arrieta.
It does seem to be a bit of, you know, maybe a rite of passage. You watch some of these organizations. Well, use the Houston Astros or even the Cubs, for example. You try to bring in a player that validates the organization or the process along the way. I think back to John Lester. Honestly, he was with the Cubs when they signed John Lester. You know, the idea is that, you know, when he was on board. Same situation. Bring him over. Help us take those steps forward while these younger players are developing around this. Now they've created for themselves a window of opportunity.
That pitch is outside, 1-0, so they went for it. And they've got Aaron Nola, so they have a very good 1-2 punch. And they still don't have Jared Eichhoff. They hope to get him back in May. Inside to Brian Anderson, but you saw this shot of Rick Kranitz former Marlins pitching coach, now with Philadelphia. The new coaching staff here under Gabe Kaplan. There's Rick, good guy to talk baseball with. And he's got some horses to work with.
Absolutely. Staff's doing a good job. Bullpen's doing an even better job.
Chop to Franco. It is a fair ball. Plenty of time and a good strong throw. That's that big arm he has. And he made that look easy.
Well, Anderson kind of hesitates out of the box. Good look at sinking fastball. But there was a chance this might go foul. And he says he better go. It's on his horse quick. Ball stayed fair.
That's oops.
And Franco right over it.
He would have had him either way.
Good foot and a half.
Cameron Maben takes that one for a ball.
Cameron swinging the bat better. His last 8 games, 263, a couple of doubles.
Right on the corner, nice pitch from Arrieta, 1-1 on Maben, hitting in the number 6 spot in the lineup for the Marlins. They shade him over to right field. In fact, Altair very close to the line in right. That's ripped for another base hit for Cameron Maben, the second for the Marlins in the ballgame, a 1-out single.
A real nice at bat by Cameron Maben. Gonna jump on the changeup. We talked about it. You see the sinking action. Watch the back knee. Maben had to go down. Good mechanics there as a hitter. Some guys like to drop the barrel into the zone. Their legs will stay in that position. What you saw with Maben right there is he recognized the changeup and actually went down with his legs an inch or two. Helped him get below that baseball right there and drive it into left field.
Good job. And here's Miguel Rojas.
The last home run Jake Arrieta gave up was to Miguel Rojas. It's April 8th. It's a pretty impressive swing. I think what's impressive about not only Rojas taking him deep, it's the fact that Arrieta hasn't given up a home run since.
Oh.
100 ABs.
Wow.
100 batters have faced him.
This
Since
is
that home
fifth
run.
start.
Yeah, it was a rude introduction. Well, not for Marlins fans, but for Phillies fans and Jake Arrieta. I think there was a nervous vibe in the building already. I think he jumped all over it. Now, you know, a few weeks later, we know Miggy's got that kind of pop, right? 4 home runs leading this team.
He's matched his career high this year.
He's on
for
his way.
Career, that means,
It's
not
only,
season.
only April.
But that was a big homer, Todd. That was the game following the 20-1
Absolutely.
blitz.
I listen, sometimes you feel things as a baseball player, and I go back to that home run. I've said it, and I know I've gotten some weird looks around here, and even just kind of mentioning it. But the idea is that when you have a really bad loss, as bad as that loss was the Philadelphia Phillies, there's got to be a response from your team, and you love for it to be right away. Well, Miggy provided it, and that's, to me, that meant a lot, because this team has really taken some steps in the right direction since then.
I mean, you're facing Arrieta. You just got crushed. You could get swept.
Right.
And he hits a big homer in a game that the Marlins wind up pulling out.
You look at Rojas' numbers. I know he's been struggling a little bit. You know, obviously homered yesterday, but the one thing I look at Rojas so far this season is that he's had big moments for the Marlins offensively. Think back to the Dodger game where he took Clayton Kershaw deep.
Right.
There was a lot of guys left on base that day, and I'll tell you what, many of us really believe that Kershaw's going to find his way through 5 innings, all that traffic, and not give up a run. Rojas steps in. He was almost near 100 pitches and made him pay the price. So good to see.
Maben has 1 steal on the year. Caught a couple of times. A big year stealing last year. That breaking ball, good eye for Rojas. Evens the count up at 2-2. Brinson on deck. Miguel batting in the number 7 spot in the lineup. Some good news on the injury front with the infielder JT Riddle playing at the AAA level tonight. He'll play a couple of games in a row. It's from the left side. Could join the Marlins There goes Maven. It's a hit and run. It's dumped to right field. It's going to drop. Coming in is Altair. It's a foul ball. The Marlins have been doing this a little more, and it paid off yesterday, moving the runners, either stealing, hit and run, and you saw them then cash in yesterday when Brinson had that base hit.
Absolutely. Well, even yesterday, you know, just Anderson being safe at second base on what almost was a double play, which ultimately turned into another run. You know, I like this right here. You know, he's just trying to be aggressive, put the ball in play, go the other way. You have one of your best hands guys at home plate. That situation right there could potentially have been a first and third as it was hunting that foul line.
You just wonder, that throw nearly got away, how big this outfield must feel to the Hoskins, Herrera, and Altairs of the world, where they're used to looking and almost seeing the fence on their back, and here, compared to
the ball comes down here,
park.
right? In this ballpark, the ball comes down and you catch it. Their ballpark, it just keeps going.
It might hit the green lawn as well here. Well, I mean, look at the gaps.
Well, how about this? I mean, it's as simple as this. They've hit 24 home runs this year, 18 at home, 6 on the road for the Phillies. So, I mean, you certainly know that their ballpark gives up a few.
2-2 pitch, fastball with the runner going again. Chop foul. So you get a dual purpose here with the player running. Is they just try and stay out of the double play, or maybe you can move them a couple of bases, or if you gap one, you score them relatively easily.
Well, again, getting to the aggressive nature that this Marlins team needs to have, and now that the offense is starting to take shape, I think Don Mattingly's in a position where he can start to move guys around a little bit. Listen, they don't steal a whole lot of bases. He hasn't been able to move guys around. When you're only getting 5 or 6 hits a game, I mean, how many guys can you really put in motion? Well, now that they've been getting a little bit more, I think he's willing to go there.
2-2 pitch, Maven goes again. Line drive, base hit to center field. Maven will easily go to third as Herrera handles it. And it's first and third, Miami with 1 out. Nice response by Miguel Rojas on a 2-2 pitch.
Well, what an at-bat. Miguel Rojas continues to get it done, continues to impress with the bat. We talked about the sinker, stayed inside it once again. We've watched now twice Marlins hitters stay inside the sinking fastball, not roll over it, able to elevate it, drive it into center field. Maven easily to third base, and an opportunity with runners in scoring position for Lewis Brinson.
So here's Brinson, who had that big 2-out hit yesterday. In the second inning, he went the other way with 1 out, pitcher on deck. Takes that off-speed pitch outside.
Brinson's looked so much better over the last few ball games. His tempo at home plate looks much more under control. He's seeing the ball better. If you watched closely when he was struggling a little bit, you could almost see the nervousness in his hands and his body language, you know, flinching at pitches and jumping. Right now, he looks like he is in such a better place rhythm-wise.
Rojas is going, pitch outside. They're going to try and get him. They throw, and he's safe. He slid in there. Miguel Rojas with the stolen base. Phillies are going to look at it. If it holds up, it'll be his second steal of the year.
Well, Jake Arrieta is the right guy to run on. He's slow to home plate, and if you can get a good jump, you can steal yourself a base. It's close. Now remember, the call is safe. Philadelphia Phillies are still looking at it.
Throw was a little high. Let's see on this one right here. Oh, he's okay.
Yep. Nice job. As a base runner, you always want to go to the back edge of the bag. Always anticipate. Always buy yourself a little space. If you can go to that back edge, you buy yourself 2 or 3 inches. And I think in that instance right there, got Rojas a stolen base.
Interesting spot because of the number 8 hitter being up. Yeah, kind of a gutsy steal there by Rojas. Breaking ball missed. Set yourself up for second and third. Well, you could also run yourself out of the inning a little bit there too.
You can.
It's an interesting call.
But might I add this? That's why you saw a breaking ball right there on a 2-0 pitch. But I'm excited that Brinson swings, even though it's a 2-0 pitch, because now he's staying in the bat. It's staying in the at bat. Let's see how the rest of this goes.
Another breaking ball, ground to the short. That's going to get a run in though. Nice job by Brinson. as he hit the ground ball, and again, moving the runner, gets the Marlins a run.
Love to see it. Love to see the ball in play. Nice job by Brinson on the back-to-back breaking balls. Makes contact on the second one and picks up a run. Cuts the lead in half. Big over-the-top curveball. Even sees that ball down. He's running right away. And what I meant by that, so on the 2-0 pitch, he threw the breaking ball. He swings. Some hitters will take that pitch. Well, depending on what ends up happening, now maybe you walk it because you say, well, I got the pitcher up next. Well, when you swing in that situation, this is what Mike Piazza used to do so brilliantly, was set up a pitcher. Sometimes at the beginning of an at-bat, he'd chase a bad one. Next thing you know, the guy on the mound's thinking, I can get this guy out. Threw one in the dirt, he swung at it, right? Like 5 pitches later, he throws him a cookie, and the ball would be, flying out to right center field, and we'd all be slapping hands. So, I mean,
yeah.
You can do it.
That 1-0 pitch is outside. If Miguel Rojas doesn't steal second base, we're in a break right now.
It's double play.
Getting set for the 3rd inning.
Love it. Love it, love it, love it. Get a runner in scoring position once again. Dan Straley has one of those big moments.
Straley, showing bunt, takes the ball. Straley grew up in California, and ironically, his favorite Dodger was Mike Piazza, you just mentioned. But he moved when he was in elementary school to Oregon. So he would then go to some Mariner games when the Dodgers, maybe even Todd Hollinsworth, is that possible? We're in town. Takes a strike, 3-1 now.
Maybe.
From Redlands, California, but went to high school in Springfield, Oregon. 3-1 to Straley. Takes that right on the corner, right down the middle, actually 3-2 now. Well, again, the Marlins are making Jake Arrieta earn his outs. This will be pitch number 39. And that is inside. He walked the pitcher.
Hey, Marlins fans, now you can stream games live on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go, presented by T-Mobile. Download the app and take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball wherever you go. Nice at bat by Dan Straley, and kind of hinted at driving that pitch count up against Arrieta. He's had to work hard this inning.
9th walk he has given up this season, a little over 25 innings. So Marlins have first and second, 2 out, and now JT. This is that spot where you like a leadoff hitter that can drive in some runs. And that missed. This is not a surprise. The Marlins have really done a very good job against the best pitchers they have seen this season. And it doesn't mean they always beat them, but they made them work hard.
Hang in there. Put together good at bats.
Lester, Kershaw, Arrieta, that's a check swing foul. I'm leaving out a few other guys, but they faced probably 6 or 7 at least ace-type pitchers early on in the first month. And Don Mattingly's been very happy with the approach. And you hope, with all the pieces, that this approach is going to lead to more runs, more big hits, moving guys, kind of finding their offensive identity.
Well, I've always enjoyed it. I played on a few teams. Our Marlin team in 03 had it. Of course, I think we probably had a little bit more power, but it's kind of that idea of one heartbeat. And what ends up happening is you end up playing together, playing off each other. I know Juan Pierre, and he talks about his relationship with Luis Castillo and that dynamic you had at the top of the lineup between the 2 fastest guys that could bunt, steal a base, like 2 leadoff hitters, and then you had the guys in the middle. And next thing you know, you kind of develop a rhythm on how you do things. Now, part of this is that you're getting a few of your key veterans back, by the way. JT Realmuto coming back over the last week. Martin Prado's back. I mean, things are starting to make a little bit more sense, too.
3-1 pitch. Fastball grounded to second base. Handle over there by Hernandez to Kingery. And the Phillies get out of it and still have the lead as we go to the 3rd. Coors Banquet timeless moment. And here it is, 2002. The Mets' Al Leiter, the former Marlin, post-Marlin career, or in between, I should say, defeats the D-backs 10-1. First pitcher in MLB history to record wins over all 30 franchises. Leiter would return, join the Marlins later on. One of those two-stint guys. A lot of those guys in baseball, right?
Well, when
did you ever return to one of your teams?
I never did. Probably says something.
Yeah, I want to say that, but it's
well, what I was getting at with Al, I mean, here we are. Listen, you beat 30 teams, but I tell you, Al was really good. I mean, it kind of speaks to him. A guy gets welcomed back when you're that dominant, right?
There was a Leiter connection on the Phillies. His nephew Mark Leiter Jr. still out with an injury. They hope to get him back sometime in May as well. Marlins saw him last year. Rhys Hoskins, Marlins have seen all too much of, with yet another walk in the first inning.
Hoskins, good numbers across the board. 361 on the road this season.
How aware is he that he has crushed the Marlins? Is it first and foremost?
It's in there. He knows. I mean, he may not be able to put specifics to it like we can, because that's what we do. But he knows. He sees the ball well. He's had good results. When you know you're good against the guy. I mean, I mentioned his numbers against Straley coming in, 6 for 8 with 3 home runs. There's no way to not know that. So, you know, you feel like as soon as you show up at the ballpark, confidence starts to go up, and you've done your thing. And the Marlins, unfortunately, are that team for him right now.
It's one off the end of the bat to Cameron Maben, so he will not be adding to that total of 8 homers against the Marlins. An easy fly out. Here's our Florida Lottery in-game jackpot. And it is updated, and Odubel Herrera is up to 30 now for the Major League active on base streak, dating back obviously to last season. Missed the Phillies' 28th game of the year.
Probably shouldn't be surprised. Herrera, you know, he's one of the players we talked about versatility. You saw the Phillies, their opening homestand. He was hitting 5th, down in the lineup, a few guys in front of him. Kind of was finding his rhythm. And he can hit at the top of the lineup. He can hit in the middle of the lineup. He's so hot right now as part of that 30 game consecutive streak. He's hitting 3rd.
Shows a little bunt. Prado comes in. Prado will tempt you. He's not one of the third basemen who will play really far in over at third base. But he is great with that bare hand. We saw it earlier in the series against Colorado. If you want to try him.
Odubel Herrera leading all the National Leaguers against right-handed pitching.
Swing and a miss at that one. 2-1.
377 coming into tonight. 2 homers, 11 RBIs against the righties.
And he takes that one. Fastball, 2-1. 2-2 now. Herrera singled in the first. Aaron Altair is on deck here in the top of the 3rd. And the breaking ball is away, so another full count here. 3-2. And that missed outside. That's a walk. 3rd walk. Straley has walked a man in each of the first 3 innings. And all 3 times it's been the 2nd man he's faced in the inning. So here's Aaron Altair hitting cleanup.
Altair comes in hot, 385, last 8 games. OPS well over 1,000. 3 for 4 yesterday. The Phillies lost yesterday. They were beat up by the Braves. kind of had their number this season.
They've played him already. Is it 4 series?
I think so. 3.
3 series. That's a lot of action already, though, for 1 month of the season. Herrera has 1 steal this year. Pitch misses 1-0. And caught 1 time. Braves are very interesting, Todd. They have retooled over there, rebuilt. They've got some exciting pieces. I know the Phillies have been very impressed with them. There's a pitch over, 1-1.
Acuna, Albies, around Freeman.
They're
All of a sudden,
1-2 in the lineup, and they are tough.
I'm telling you, they've accelerated their own story as well.
Herrera last year stole only 8 bases. He was caught 5 times, but the year before that he stole 23.
A lot of that has to do with where he's hitting in the lineup. As I mentioned, the versatility. You get a few more opportunities near the top than you do hitting in that 4 or 5 spot in the lineup.
And we know the kind of job, Todd, early on here the Marlins have done throwing out base runners.
11 on the season. Want to keep it close, though. All the Marlins catchers have done a very, very nice job.
Yeah, #1 in the major leagues.
Yeah, and we talked about a lot of the finer things that the Marlins needed to do well this year to make up some deficiencies. They've cleaned it up. As we mentioned earlier in the ballgame, Bowen, Perry Hill's done a fantastic job with the defense. The catchers are doing a great job. They're holding runners. Clearly they're pitching well over the last week, which is helping them win.
Fouled away. They've thrown out 11 of 22 would-be base runners, 50%. Well, what's a good number? In the 30% range?
36.
36%?
36 to 40 generally. I mean, that's how far. I mean, they're shutting down running games right now. I mean, we watched the Colorado Rockies try to jumpstart themselves a few different times, and every time they got a guy moving, they were getting blown up.
There's Brian Schneider, does a great job with the catchers.
That's right. Gets a lot of credit for that as well, as he should.
He did not go on that 1-2 pitch.
It's a good pitch by Straley. Wanted it right there. He's trying to work off that outside corner. Borderline pitch.
Two pitch. That's well outside. Now it's another full count. Marlins with a couple of games to go against the Phillies, and then a road trip. Meet the Cincinnati Reds later this week, and then off to Wrigley. Always fun next week. That starts on Monday. Let's see if Herrera goes with 1 out. He does not. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He pulled the string on him for the strikeout, and that's his first strikeout of 2018.
Third time's the charm. There jumped the first pitch fastball, and he hit about a 395-foot line drive out. Now, what do you earn yourself? You earn yourself a lot of secondary pitches. Great breaking ball there. She goes to the curveball, not so much the slider there. It bottoms out, and he gets the swing and miss. Good job by Dan Straley.
That's a pitch you don't see a lot from Dan Straley. That was a beauty.
What Dan has to do, did a lot of this last year, stay unpredictable. He's got to do that. He does not possess high velocity on his four-seam fastball. He's got to spot it. Plays the game of, if you're sitting or thinking changeup, he's going to go slider. If you're thinking, well, maybe he's going to throw a slider right here, he tries to elevate the four-seam fastball at 90 miles an hour. That's the game that Dan plays.
So Carlos Santana here with a count of 0-1. Herrera's going at a pretty good jump. Realmuto's throw, bouncer. He may have got to be dead. JT Realmuto does it again for the Marlins. You can't steal off these guys. I thought Herrera had a fairly decent jump.
Now what a play by Rojas at second base on the short hop. My goodness, stayed in there. Watch this. Go get that. Yes, sir.
Well, he got him 4 feet in front of the base.
What a nice job by the defense. Good job by JT Realmuto. I'll show you real quick. Real quick as JT got that throw off. Rojas, outstanding job on the short hop throw, able to get the tag down almost simultaneously as Herrera arrives. What, 4 feet in front of the bag?
At least. It's funny, Todd, because the throw wasn't exactly where you want it, but actually maybe it was.
Well, when you miss on that side of the bag, you got a little bit more room for error, right? So it's up
Yeah.
the line a little bit. And of course, it's all about timing. You clearly can't miss to the other side.
Yeah. Arrieta has been picking and not really picking up the corners. And that's why he has more balls than strikes so far in this game, 24-23.
Well, 28 pitches last inning for Arrieta, and great job by the Marlins. They're not chasing. They're not, we'll eventually expand our strike zone. It's not happening.
That one off the glove of Alfaro.
I know, like I said, when we threw it in the Auto Nation scouting report, I think, most people are like, well, listen, it's Jake Arrieta, right? It's his first start out, of course, 74 pitches for him. Listen, the Marlins had a fantastic approach in that first ball game, and I really believe it was going to be the key to tonight's game for them offensively, trying to get at him. That's a good example right there. On a 3-1 pitch, he's not an automatic swing. He's going to make him work.
Think that wasn't the pitch he was looking for?
Well, maybe not in the spot he was looking for it.
Payoff pitch to Prado. Fastball up the middle softly. Kingery over, can't handle. We'll see how they call it. Prado is aboard at first base.
Yeah, it should be a base hit.
Was softly hit. Hit at the mound?
No, Arrieta hit Arrieta's foot, and he slowed it down. Kingery had to barehand it. Watch this. This ball's hit hard. Yeah, you see Arrieta stick his foot out, kind of slow it down. Now Kingery's forced to go to the backhand. I think Arrieta's probably a little ticked at himself when he saw where Kingery was at. That's got to be a base hit for me. Kingery went to the bare hand. It's a do-or-die play, and it is. It's a hit.
There was a time where anything up the middle was a base hit. That time is long gone. You know when you notice it when you're watching a game on television and you see the shot up the middle, and if you don't see where the infielders are, you say base hit, and not anymore.
Well, the game's changed. We have replays and more replays.
Yeah.
So you see everything. The eye in the sky. Listen, it's been great in a lot of aspects, but you're right. Guys get robbed of hits all the time. I still fall victim to that. Cheering for our guys. As soon as I see a bare hand play, I think there's a lot of time built-in expectations. You're right. The shifts are a big part of it as well.
Starlin Castro, count of 1-1. He doubled in the first inning. Prado aboard. Marlins have been very aggressive in the last few games in particular on moving runners and putting the game in motion. Prado's not a speedster, but he's an excellent base runner.
You can run on Arrieta. He's very deliberate to home plate. Only giving up one stolen base coming in, but I think that's more based on his dominance on the mound than a surplus of base runners. Score can dictate the running game as well. Arrieta's not the best.
Chop foul. Just in case you're wondering, Prado has 39 career stolen bases, but he had one big year back in 2012 when he had 17. Caught only 4 times. Did not have a steal last season, and just 2 the year before. Here's the 2-2. It's inside. Laborious probably be a good word for Mr. Arrieta tonight, because all we heard was how great, Todd, that he's been pitching.
Throwing. He really has. I mean, the numbers don't lie. I mean, he's quality starts other than his first time out. Give his team a chance to win. The one thing that did stand out in the Arizona start to me was the 107 pitches. He seemed like he had to work a little bit more.
Prado is going on 3-2, and that was fouled off. And
what the Marlins have done a good job of offensively is defending the borderline pitches, those pitcher pitches that are right on the corners. Now, if he's missing a ball or 2 off those corners, Marlins hitters have laid off.
Ball came close to the manager, but I think the bat boy grabbed that foul ball. So 3-2. You run Prado again?
Sure. Sterling puts the ball on the ground a lot.
There he goes. That's outside. Ball 4. First and second for Miami.
A burger, a beer, and a ball game. Start the weekend off right with Modelo Burger and Beer Fridays. Enjoy this fantastic deal on May 11th when the Marlins take on the Atlanta Braves, 7:10 p.m. Tickets start at just $30. Get your tickets at marlins.com/burger.
Sounds tasty.
Friday night.
So Derek Dietrich stands in. Derek wears number 32. It's an interesting number right now because Arrieta's gone 3-2 on 3 of the last 4 hitters and a 3-ball count last 4 hitters in this game. Nobody out, 2 on for the Marlins, trailing 2-1. Fastball driven deep right field. That ball is going toward the track, leaping up and goes off the wall. 1 run will score. Dietrich will pull in the second and third. It's a double and a tie ball game. Herrera tried to pull off another sparkling catch, but he couldn't catch that one.
Yeah, a couple days ago he did. He scaled the wall in Philadelphia, brought back a home run. Freddie Freeman not too happy, but not here at Marlins Park and not tonight. How about Dietrich jumping on the first pitch? I love it. Arrieta struggling, can't find the plate, wants to get ahead, knows his pitch count's going up, ready to swing the bat. See Herrera flying into the wall, hit about 3, about a couple more feet, that ball's gone. A good base running by the Marlins as well. Put themselves in the position to move up.
That's a deep part of the yard.
Well, how about Dietrich taking full advantage of the 4 spot tonight?
And that shot base hit, that's going to bring in a couple. Here comes Castro. Here comes Dietrich. Anderson going for second. He's got a double. Marlins take the lead.
Back-to-back pitches. They know Arrieta was on the ropes just a bit, struggling with his command. Right after him, knows he needs to find it. How about this breaking ball? 12-6. Right center field. Time and time again this month of April, we have seen Mr. Anderson shoot that gap and drive in runs. No stopping now.
Great piece of hitting by Brian Anderson. And again, it goes back to the approach of the Marlins here in this ball game. Here's Maben, takes a strike. Maben singled in the second inning. And action starting now in the Philadelphia Phillies bullpen.
Well, I mentioned last inning, 28 pitches. It's climbing. Arrieta's laboring.
Chopped up the middle, could it get through? No, Kingery's got it. And the play to first, safe, close play. Jeremy Rehak calling him safe at first. Moving over to third is Anderson. Gene Kaplan wants to get a second look. I didn't think he had a shot at him, and he made a strong throw. We were going that way.
He certainly did. He was able to play up the middle, and Cameron Maben was flying down the line.
That was close.
Well, the ball hit the dirt, so we may have been misled just a bit.
All right, May got him.
Interior of the glove. Wow. Is it enough to overturn it, though, Craig? That's the thing you've got to remember.
Yeah.
They're going to go for it. They're going to review it. You've got to remember, it's not, we're not looking at this isolated. You don't send it off and say, what's the call? It's safe call. Is there enough, knowledge to overturn it? Well, either way, how about the approach? Runner on second base, thinking up the middle the other way. I mean, we've seen this now from Dietrich. You saw it from Anderson. You see it from Maben.
I think they got him. We'll see.
I think his cleats hit the top of the bag.
Out.
Darn it.
That was a
You're
great
probably
play.
right. I was begging for it there.
That was a great play by Kingery. I didn't think he had a shot, especially Todd. That ball was high, and he's going out toward the outfield to switch and even get a throw hard enough to get Maben.
Kingery certainly can play many positions. This is his 20th start on the season. He started all over the field. 7 at third, now 6 starts at shortstop. He's played all over the outfield, and he started at second base as well.
J.P. Crawford put on the disabled list with a forearm strain a couple of days ago. He did have 5 throwing errors, the regular shortstop, and Kingery more of a second baseman, but Hernandez is playing so well. So, runner on third, 1 out, and here's Miggy. Infield moves in now, try and chop off a potential 5th run for the Marlins. Ross with 8 RBIs this year, singled first time up. That pitch is inside, 2-0. Action in the Phillies bullpen. Yaxel Rios, the Phillies 12th round pick from 2011 up there. Grounded foul of Freddie Gonzalez.
Rios would ideally like to elevate. He knows he's going to see almost 2-seamers exclusively. The sinking fastball from Arrieta. Arrieta clearly needs to get the ground ball here. So the question is for Rojas, how can he take that sinking line drive and get it elevated?
That pitch is away. If you're Cameron, or rather Brian Anderson over there at third base with 1 out and Brinson up next. What's his, is he going on contact?
He might. I mean, that's Don Mattingly's call. My guess is that he's probably going on contact if he can get a good enough jump.
Which means you'll give up the shot right at the infielder.
Oh, you're
you're
moving.
Duck,
as soon
but
as
you're going.
You see ball down, you're off.
Shot, nice play at third. He was going. They may get him out, they will, but it's an RBI. What a play over at third by Franco, but it's an RBI for Miguel Rojas and a 5-2 lead.
Well, nice job with the contact from Rojas. Nice job by Anderson. Look at the high fives going on contact. Well, this isn't a read. This is merely just what we talked about, going on contact. Franco catches that baseball. It's a double play. As soon as the ball is hit, you're moving down the line. He is able to pick up the 5th run for the Marlins.
And that's why you go on contact.
Well, it's worked out there. 6 more feet, that might have been a different outcome. It would have been a different outcome, but you're right. Certainly love the aggressiveness.
I mean, you have to, you're going living with the fact that if it's right at somebody, well, that's an out. But you get one way or the other. If it's not right at the infielder, you're probably going to score.
You will live with the outcome. It's all about approach. When Don Mattingly, and what we've seen from the Marlins over the last 3 games, particularly on the bases, you talk aggressively. At some point, there's going to be a mistake, but they're going to be aggressive mistakes. That's what you want to see. There's no indecisiveness.
Another ground ball over at Franco. Is at a strong game over there. Whips it across, but a very good inning for the Miami Marlins. They score 4 and lead 5-2. lead 5-2. And a reminder tomorrow, catch an outstanding pregame show. South Florida Honda Dealers Marlins Live. Jessica and Jeff, bang up job. Todd, I thought, in the show tonight. Email Twitter Tuesday. And Zach Eflin will take on Harlan Garcia, who, when you look, Todd, at the pitching leaders in the major leagues, Harlan Garcia is right near the top.
Well, would you agree with me, Craig, if I was willing to go as far as saying that everything that's happened in this rotation, I know it's a lot more ingredients than what I'm about ready to say, but it just feels that way. This great run that this staff has been on has been triggered by Harlan Garcia moving into the rotation and pitching like a dominant left-hander.
Yeah, I think it started it, absolutely.
Everybody else seemed like they just kind of followed suit once he started, like, wait a minute, this young man who was in the bullpen last year, wait, he's in, wait, no hit innings, wait, what? Yeah. I'm going to do what he's doing.
He locked in that one spot where it made it a shorter bullpen day and gave you a great shot. And, think of it as reluctantly, too, because the team was planning to have him stretch out in the minors. Then you had the Straley situation. He starts out, even starting, they didn't say he'd be there forever. Santana rips that one to center, but that's going to be in the glove of Lewis Brinson. Well hit. 1 out.
Now, there's clearly a lot more to it than, Harlan Garcia having a great start, but I certainly took notice, and I certainly felt like it was clearly connected, at least in the communication aspect. Whether we're talking Caleb Smith or, moving along with, Trevor Richards did it, Dylan Peters did. Next thing you know, these guys are all pumping out really good starts.
When it started, too, it was in the relief outing when he had that 6 innings in that long game. I think it was against the Mets.
I'll tell you saw the picture of Juan Nieves right there. He has done a fantastic job with his staff. You're watching some serious numbers turn around. I mean, the Marlins coming into tonight's ball game had lowered their team ERA under 5.
Yes.
I mean, did you even see that as a possibility where they were standing? Because they were at the high 5, not for a team ERA. No.
They've dropped it, I bet you, about a run.
Well, their last 7 games, 1.30 ERA.
Team ERA was down to 4.79 coming into tonight. And the starters 4-2. I'll check that on the starters, but as you mentioned, that ERA with the bullpen and the starters has been amazing. To drop it, almost a run. Batting average against, 242 now. 10th in the league. That was the worst in the league a week and a half ago. And again, we're just talking about a nice run as Kingery fouls it off.
Absolutely.
A good run that you hope to keep
part
going.
Of the maturation process of the starting staff. I mean, listen, some guys have entered it, some guys have moved out of it, and I'm sure that's going to continue to be the story this year. But the bottom line is results and the competitive baseball that the Marlins have played over the last week.
Straley missing, so he goes to the full count on Kingery. Line smack, that's a base hit for Kingery, who's hustling around first base and may try. Yes, he will try to go to second. Throw by Maben comes in. It's a double for Scott Kingery with 1 out on a 3-2 pitch.
Now with Kingery's speed, this spacious ballpark, as he picks on that elevated fastball. We talk about it. 4-seamer at the top. He rips it into left. Maybe does a nice job of cutting it off. It's hit hard. He has to take a good angle to the ball, but he's out by the warning track. That's really what it becomes here. From line to line, you got some speed. You should be thinking 2 out of the box. Kingery is, and he gets himself a double.
So that'll bring up Michael Franco. With Straley back tonight, Tyler Cloyd went on paternity leave. 2 were just related coincidentally. So Cloyd will be gone for 3 games, and then after that, the Marlins will have to make a decision on what to do. Here's the roster move. The paternity. Did they have the paternity list, Todd, when you were playing?
Yes, they did. Dan Straley reinstated from the 10-day disabled list, and Dan Straley placed on the paternity list. Those guys were spitting images of each other. Looking at their photos. Look at it. Dan's on both sides, or Tyler's on both sides, however you choose to look at it.
I think it's a different picture.
Well, he's got his beard.
It's close.
No?
No, maybe these eyes are open on Coy. Look at the difference. Lookalikes.
I did a double take when I saw that the first time.
Dylan Peters has gone to the bullpen from the rotation for Miami. That one misses. 1-1 here to Michael Franco.
Be careful with Franco.
Yeah. We were telling you the bottom of the order hadn't done much for the Phillies this year. In this game, they have been very loud with Alfaro, a 2-run homer, and then the Kingery double here in the 4th.
Yeah, it was set up by the leadoff walk to Franco.
Pitch driven to left field, going back is Maben. He goes back to the wall, he leaps, and it is gone. So just like that, the Phillies are right back in the game. A 2-run homer for Michael Franco.
Well, Franco continues to pound the Marlins in 2018. He is now 12 RBIs in 4 games. Let's take another look. I think you'll find from Dan Strelly this is a bit of a theme tonight. Some frustration, a couple of hanging pitches, and that was one of them.
So the Phillies, who had hit only 6 homers on the road with 2 long balls in this game on the road, 26 now on the season. And here's the guy who hit the other homer, that's Alfaro, and he takes outside.
He jumped all over the first pitch he saw, hitting his 8th career home run. 3 of the 8 come on that first pitch. Very aggressive hitter.
Missed that fastball. Good fastball location for Dan Straley. Here's the 1-1. That ball is popped up right side. Castro and Anderson. Castro makes the catch. Here's a message brought to you by FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep reliability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
There's Dan Straley, making his first start here in 2018. That pitch outside. You know, Straley did not make his Springfield, Oregon high school team as a freshman. He really was always fighting a battle of proving himself at every level. Even in college at Western Oregon, they told him he couldn't play Division I, and he decided to leave, and he said he got in a plane for the first time ever and flew, never been east to Idaho, and flew to Marshall, Huntington, West Virginia, and had a nice Division I run with the Thundering Herd. And here he is. Wonder what they're saying in Western Oregon and at the high school. Some guys, though, you need that perseverance, Todd. That's really the story for Dan Straley.
It becomes a character trait. There's no doubt about it. It's one of the big intangibles that you love to have. Most major leaguers have it, which is a resiliency. And Straley clearly has got that. Look at his even his major league career early on. Sent down, optioned back down, had to come back up, went back down again. DFA'd at one point. I mean, there was a lot of things that hit him already in his career. So back-to-back solid seasons.
Now he walks the pitcher here, Todd, so Hernandez comes up. Marlins are on the phone. I'm sure Dan would love to get through 5 if possible. But right now, just get through this inning with Hernandez up. There's a change, and JT Romero is going to make a mound trip, and here comes Juan Nieves as well with a 2-0 count. 6 straight balls from Dan Straley. You wonder if he's tiring a little bit as Miranda Gonzalez starts to loosen up.
Well, there's one common denominator that we've seen, well, really both from Arrieta and even Dan Straley tonight. It's falling behind hitters. 2 innings in which the Phillies have scored, that has been the common theme. Dan has walked a hitter in every inning.
He has had 4 full counts in the last 10 hitters. And not including the Arrieta, who he walked on 4 pitches. Pitch to Hernandez. That's taken over for a 2-1 count now on Cesar Hernandez. He's 0 for 2 in the game. Fly out on the ground out. Hit into a 6-4-3 double play to end the second. That one is ripped to right field in trouble. Anderson going after it. Arrieta rounding third. He's going to stop there. And it's a double for Hernandez. And now the tying and potential go-ahead runs are on base with 2 outs. And can Dan Straley get through the 4th inning now?
Yeah, that's a good question. Nice job by Anderson cutting off this ball before it gets to the wall. Arrieta scores if he doesn't. Anticipates it down to the corner. You see the swing by Hernandez, rips it into right. This is a no-doubter double as we talk about the corners here at Marlins Park. But a nice job by Anderson as he cuts it off, as I said, right before the grass ended. He would have hit Dietrich with a strong throw.
Well, pick your poison now. Rhys Hoskins is up. Herrera's on deck. Hoskins, the Marlins killer in his young career. Had a fly out in the 3rd and walked in the 1st. And he pops this one up. It is playable and high. Castro in fairground makes the grab. Big out for Dan Straley and the Marlins. Phillies get 2 though and pull within 1. Trust Cleveland Clinic, Florida, the #1 orthopedic care in Florida. By the Coral Springs Auto Mall across from the Coral Square Mall, we make it easy. And by La Lechonera, the original mojo since 1970. Greg Benervini in for Paul Severino for the series. Paul, back at you with Todd from Cincinnati on Friday. Pleasure to be here. 5-4 Marlins. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and that's it for Dan Straley as J.B. Shuck will pinch hit here. Unfortunately, Straley couldn't get through 5. Kind of weary a little bit, it looked like, in that 4th inning.
Well, he was talking about a couple home runs. You know, at times been the issue with Dan Straley in years past. 31 home runs allowed last year. I mean, again, that's just one thing that's, you know, he'll work it out. I thought that the 4 walks obviously stood out. He did a pretty decent job navigating the traffic. I guess what I'm getting at is here, Philly's only 1 for 4 with runners in scoring position. The two-run homers are obviously the big blows.
Only 1 of the 4 walks scored. That was big for Straley when you talk about the navigation he did. Didn't do too much damage with those when you mix in a couple of homers. and walks and 6 hits. That could be a lot worse.
Well, if you want to look at the entire storyline, listen, we talked about the 5 starts that he made against the Philadelphia Phillies last year. Okay, well, the good ones were at the front end, and the bad ones were at the back end of those 5 starts. Of course, we didn't tell you that leading into that because we're not putting out bad vibes. We're putting out good vibes, correct?
Yes.
That's what we do. And, you know, there's something there that, you know, you could possibly have played off of. His ERA against him last year was a 6. So this was not necessarily the ideal matchup for him to come back on when you factor nerves and the Phillies and, you know, everything that the Marlins had already seen this year. All things considered, definitely something to, you know, to build upon. There were some good moments in there.
Swing and a miss, fastball 92 miles an hour and a strikeout, and that's the first strikeout for Jake Arrieta tonight. Let's go down to Jessica.
Hey guys, baseball has always been a huge part of Rhys Hoskins' life, and growing up, his mother was his biggest fan. Unfortunately, tragedy struck right before Rhys's 16th birthday when Kathy lost a 14-year battle with cancer. Rhys carries her memory into every game and says that whenever he faces a difficult time, he remembers to keep fighting just like his mother did. Guys, perseverance, the most important lesson that Kathy taught Rhys.
Yeah, we've talked about that a few times tonight. Thank you, Jessica. Good hit for JT Realmuto, routing first. He's going to try for 2, and it'll be an easy stand-up double for JT Realmuto with 1 out here in the 4th inning.
Is that the 4th double we've kind of seen into the corner, but not like right down the line? You know, kind of that spot between the corner infielders. How about it again? 2-seam fastball up. Arrieta is going to be ticked off tonight when he sees how many 2-seamers he's left above the knees. This ball ripped into left field, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Your left fielder running over, fielding it about 330 feet from home plate, long way away.
Well, you love to see the doubles. Marlins last in the majors in doubles, coming in with 29. They've got 3 in this ball game, and that's instant scoring position. That's a big factor for this Marlin club. If they can start slugging a little bit, and we're not necessarily talking homers. You start putting in the gaps, Todd, and you only need 1 single perhaps to get that guy in. Opportunities. And Prado's a guy who delivered a lot of RBI hits in his career. 0-1 pitch. Takes that. Oh, that's a good pitch. 0-2.
We always gravitate to the batting average. Tell us what, you know, he is with runners in scoring position. You know, most hitting coaches, most managers will tell you, I don't really care about the batting average. Tell me the number of opportunities my offense is giving me with runners in scoring position. Marlins have been doing a much better job of that lately.
Oh, that's right on the corner. Perfect slider. 89, and Prado goes down. Strikeout number 2, ball game and in the inning for Jake Arrieta.
Well, Arrieta back to the hard slider, 89 miles an hour after getting ahead with the 2-seamer. Right on the corner.
Perfect. Here's Starlin Castro. He's had a nice night, doubled in the first, walked and scored in the 3rd. Rips that one left field. Will it stay fair? It will. And JT Realmuto will score. Could it be another double? Castro sliding in. He's got it. 4th double of the game for the Marlins. 2nd for Castro, and it's 6-4. A big run.
It's like a script right now. It's like finding the opening in the defense. Another double into the left field corner. 5 doubles. My goodness, big breaking ball at the thighs. Nice job by Starlin Castro, keeping that head down and staying through it. Good swing. We've seen Hoskins run this pattern before, right? Cut the ball off before the corner, but still too far away. Get him at second base, and that is going to be it for Jake Arrieta tonight.
Another good job by the Marlins against Jake Arrieta. This call to the bullpen is brought to you by the Florida Lottery. New pitcher coming in. Marlins up by 2. By the Florida Lottery. It's good to have options. That's why the Florida Lottery has over 70 unique scratch-off games. So add a little play to your day with these games. The Florida Lottery, it's your ticket. Claim it. Must be 18 or older to play. Play responsibly. Yaxel Rios, 24-year-old out of Puerto Rico. We just had Puerto Rican Heritage Night here at the ballpark this weekend. A 12th round pick for the Phillies. Out of high school in Puerto Rico. Been in the Philly system for 7 years. And actually made his major league debut last August against the Marlins.
I believe it was that doubleheader day, wasn't
Yes.
it?
Foul back again. First pitch swinging for Derek Dietrich, who doubled in a run. 5 doubles. A season high for the Marlins, and we still have an out to go here in the 4th inning. You know, Arrieta was smelling, hey, 5-4, let me keep him nice, quiet 4th. Maybe I can get through the 5th and be in line for a win here. And the Marlins answered. That was a big run they just got. Long way to go in this game. An offensive game so far with 14 hits. But they got one of those 2 runs back. The Phillies scored in the top of the 4th. And swing and a miss, struck him out. So good job for Rios to get the out. We'll go to the 5th. Marlins lead by 2. Luck. 6-4 ball game. We go to the top of the 5th. New pitcher for the Marlins is Merandy Gonzalez. This will be his 4th game of the year. He's gone 6 innings and allowed 9 hits, 4 runs so far this year. What do you like from what you've seen from Mr. Gonzalez?
Well, he's got
so
a good
far?
arm, fastball, curveball, change. Now the good results was early. I think back to that Brewers appearance that he had. He went a couple of innings. He was outstanding. He did scatter 3 hits, but that was back in, well, mid-April. His last time out in Los Angeles. He got knocked around a little bit, but he did give length. He needed length that day, and they got it. 3 innings, 3 earned runs. Tell you what I've loved from him so far is his fearlessness. For a young man who is just now trying to figure things out, boy, oh boy, I can only imagine that this game's going pretty quick right now for some of the young guys on this Marlins roster, even in late April. So a nice job of controlling his tempo and going right at hitters.
Nice 93-mile-an-hour pitch on the corner to Odubel Herrera, who is 1 for 1 on a walk, has his average up to 344. Had not such a great start last year, finished strong. Signed a big deal with the Phillies a few years ago. Phillies took a little bit of a risk early in his career to try to sign him up, and it is paying dividends. 0-2 though on Herrera.
Maybe one thing led to another. Herrera's been swinging it since the second half of last year, off to a great start, great April. Went out, signed Kingery without even one big league at bat.
Ground ball, the shortstop Rojas fielding, funneling, throwing. Nicely done, 1 out. Gonzalez got ahead of the hitter. He got the ground ball he was looking for. 1 out for Aaron Altair. Philadelphia Phillies 16-11 on the year, game and a half back. Beat the Marlins 2 out of 3. Open up their home Citizens Bank Park season. April 6th to the 9th against the Marlins. They played a Thursday game, then a day off Friday and a couple of games over the weekend. That one is fouled off. Altair was born in Landstuhl, Germany. Big golfer, and he loves the King of Queens television comedy show starring Kevin James. Swing and a miss. 1-2 now to Aaron Altair.
We talked about Altair in the 4 spot tonight. Obviously some opportunities with runners in scoring position. One place he has struggled is with nobody on base. $152.
A ground ball again up the middle, but the Marlins haven't played well. Castro fires to first, 2 out. 2 balls right up the middle, and routine plays. Rojas kidding around with Castro over there. You know, the Marlins are having some fun. Now, as they say, fun is winning and winning is fun, but you can just sense a little different feel around a team that was frustrated less than a week ago with the results. They were sitting at 5-17.
Now you're producing and you're playing like a team, and that's turning into wins. That's what this is all about.
Shipped on for Santana, 0 for 2. Carlos came over from the Cleveland Indians, signing a 3-year deal with a club option in December with the Phillies. Big swing and a miss, yet to get on board. Now what the Phillies like, and you see this, Todd, in the way Matt Klentak is going about business. He's an on-base guy as well. He had 113 walks in 2014, led Major League Baseball. Last year did the same thing. So don't worry about the average so much, because he's going to get on and he'll slug some. He's only a .249 lifetime hitter heading into this season.
Combination of run production, driving in runs in big spots. Got some power in that bat as well. But you're right, he's really known for his consistent on-base percentage and his willingness to take a walk and the steadiness, being an everyday player.
He's only hit 2 homers so far. Well, it took a strike there, 3-2. Now the Marlins will switch up and bring Prado over. And it's put Rojas on the left side of the infield. They feel he can go after the fly ball, that short left field pop, better with this kind of count. Ground ball up the middle, and Prado's going to get the action. How do you score that? You throw a 5-3, 4-3. However you do it, it's a 1-2-3 inning for Merandy Gonzalez. That's this day in history. April 30th, 1995. Marlins beat the Giants 10-3, and at the time setting a club record with 4 home runs in the ballgame. Gary Sheffield, Jeff Conine hit 2, Mario Diaz. A 4 home run game. The record is now 6. But at the time, that was the mark. 0-1 count. Rios to Anderson. Bottom of the 5th, Anderson 1 for 2. Yaxel Rios is in relief, and Anderson picks the other side this time. Base hit, left center. He takes a big turn and going to go back. Phillies don't know where to play him, and that's a compliment to number 15.
That's right. There's a developing trend here at Marlins Park. I'm telling you, both sides, Phillies included, are shooting these gaps tonight. Tell you what, Anderson was thinking about it. This hanging breaking ball turned around. Nice job by Anderson. Stayed right on it, head down, stayed through it. He pulls that ball. It's on the ground. Well done. Pushing the throw. Love the hard turnaround first base. Young guys at home, here's the deal. You run hard to first base, you make a big turn, you force the throw from Herrera every time. Eventually somebody's going to throw the ball offline. You'll be able to take second base.
And they're going to take a look at him. Anderson runs well.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at that, hustling all the way, hits the inside corner of the bag. And he didn't just come 2-3 steps past first base. He went a good 15-25 feet. What's that do? Herrera's got to come up and throw the ball hard into second base. It's offline. You can take the extra base.
96-mile-an-hour fastball outside to Maben, who takes a look down at Freddie Gonzalez for the signs with a 1-0 count. Cam 1 for 2 in the game. Marlins have scored in each of the last 3 innings. A run in the 2nd, a run in the 4th, and they got 4 in the 3rd. 2 coming on the Anderson double, 1 on the Dietrich double, and then a ground out by Rojas in the big inning. Driven off the end of the bat, long run for Herrera, and he catches it on the backhand. Nice play for the first out. So that'll bring on Miguel Rojas. Miguel's 1 for 2 with an RBI.
2 really good at bats against Arrieta. Line drive, base hit to center field. Rocket. Del Franco at third base. Robbed of a hit and picked up the RBI.
There's another good fastball for a strike.
Rios has got a lively arm. See the velocity, 93 to 96 miles an hour. Also features a slider and a split finger.
Nick Whitgren loosening up for the Marlins. Pitcher spot up. 2 spots away from Rojas. Lined foul into the crowd. So 0-2 on Miggy. He's had a loud .238 season.
Really has. I'm telling you. We were talking about it a little bit in the beginning of the ball game, a little bit off air as well. I mean, who's had more big hits for the Marlins this year than this guy? Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go to the Kershaw homer, you can go to the Arrieta homer. I mean, they carry different levels of significance, but they're 17-inning walk-off. Thank you very much.
Key spots here. Back to the box. High throw to first, the second rather, but he's still able to pull off the 1-6-3 double play, so the inning is over. We're through 5 at Marlins Park. 6-4 Marlins.
Top of the 6th inning. Here is your big story. How about this, ladies and gentlemen? Corey Seager, this fine young man, I'll tell you what, he is one of the bright young stars in the game of baseball. He is going to undergo Tommy John surgery and is going to miss the rest of the season. This is a big, big blow to the Los Angeles Dodgers. We were just in Los Angeles, saw him, he was playing. I can't say that in 3 games I thought something looked off other than really just his offensive numbers at the time. Of course, it's April, certainly didn't want to overreact to that. But he's done for the year. I mean, that is just shocking, I think, probably on a national level. They clearly probably know something was going on with him in Los Angeles, but a big, big blow to the Dodgers.
Already struggling, Todd. They're 12-15 in the year, and watching Arizona get out to that great start, 19-8 so far. Dodgers coming tonight 7 games back in 4th place in the NL West. And that is devastating news for them. There's a strike taken by Kingery. He's 1 for 2. Now the Tommy John, it's different for a player than a pitcher.
He'll be back next year. He should be.
Yeah, you're not looking at the 18 months potentially. Because you get the Tommy John for a pitcher this time of year, you pretty much lose
this year, probably
years.
Next year. Yeah, you're hoping maybe you get back by September of next year if you're lucky. You're absolutely right.
But it is kind of rare too. It does happen. You hear it among position players to go through it.
I think generally the word I shocked when I saw it.
Yeah.
I was like, what? I mean, that's a game changer for an organization that has very high expectations. And oh, by the way, the Arizona Diamondbacks, they're leading the National League in wins right now.
Yeah.
They're going to have to reshuffle on the fly. Certainly don't want to see the D-backs get too far out front.
0-2 pitch. Gonzalez, 95. Boy, he's really throwing. Inside 1-2. He's got a lively arm.
Well, he certainly does. Those glitches. Anytime you've seen some wobbliness, when he has made some mistakes over the plate.
Makes that breaking ball a bit of a mistake, but right at Brinson, Marlins will take it on the lineup.
Yeah, that's kind of what we're getting to. You know, when you're ahead, when you've got 2 strikes, you've got to expand on a big league hitter. Why? Because they're the ones that are nervous. They're the ones that are getting jittery, and they're the ones willing to expand their strike zone because they know they've got 2 strikes. You certainly don't want to see hanging breaking balls in that count.
Michael Franco's had a big game defensively and offensively. He scored 2 of the Phillies' 4 runs. He hit a 2-run homer in the 4th. His 4th homer of the year. He's driven in 22 runs. With all the talk about the Philly offense not being on track, they have some run producers so far. They came in averaging 4.7 runs a game, 6th in the league, but that number is skewed because they scored 20 in the 1 game against the Marlins.
Right.
Take that out, they're more of a 4-run a game.
Well, I think you tell the story about the Phillies with their team batting average, their team on base percentage, and then their slugging, well, I shouldn't say slugging percentage, really rank with number of home runs, because it really is the story. Slow ground ball to the right side for out number 2. Team batting average 232 coming into tonight. That's 22nd in Major League Baseball, so not very high. But get this, 324 on base percentage as a team. That's 12th. It's much, much better. I mean, you're above the halfway point. You're doing some good things. They can steal a base, and well, the 24 homers coming into tonight, that was 25th in Major League Baseball. So, I mean, really, you're right. It's about getting on base. It's what they do. A few guys that are starting to heat up, but I think their stars are the ones that have really carried it. I think they're waiting for a few other guys in the lineup to get going.
And you get on base in a hitter's ballpark, put that walk in front of the homer like they did in the 2nd right here with Alfaro hitting the homer, and you could score some runs in a hurry, especially at Citizens Bank Park. Jorge 1 for 2.
But one thing that is very obvious is that it's an organizational philosophy, because we saw an awful lot of the Philadelphia Phillies in the second half of 2017. And the offensive approaches have changed. And when you look at the walks totals and the strikeout totals, it's off the charts. Elevated for both. I mean, it's like, this is a clear-cut offensive philosophy that they're trying to implement, to their lineup.
Action in the pen just in case here. Or either way, perhaps. Udubray Ramos in there.
Just to finish that thought, I'll use Hernandez, their leadoff hitter, as an example. 66 walks is his season career high. That came in 2016. This April, he's already got 22.
2-1 pitch, line to right field. That's a base hit. Good hitting there by Jorge Alfaro. A 2-out hit. And that'll be it for Yaxel Rios, as Nick Williams will come up. Nick off to a slow start, hitting just 189 as you see, with a homer and 4 RBIs.
Well, Nick may be the one that really has not adapted to the new philosophy. He's the one who's lost some playing time. Only 12 starts this season, 11 in right.
Takes that one for a strike. He was acquired along with Alfaro. Philly's got a lot in that Cole Hamels deal back in July of 2015. They also got Jake Thompson, and their number 3 pitcher is currently injured in Jared Eichhoff. That's a pretty good return. That's the idea there. Hamels helps out Texas. Lofted, shallow, tough play. Rojas going out. Did he get it? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
We told you about that. He goes out after those pop-ups as well as anybody. What a catch for the smiling Miguel Rojas here. Beauty by Miguel over the head in a big spot in the 6th.
Live tonight, it's been fun, but guess what? We've got some defense too. How about Nick Williams? The job done as a pinch hitter this year. Tries to go over Miguel Rojas's head. 72 feet running away from the infield. Well, just like Antonio Brown. We saw him here a couple of nights ago, right? That's how he catches him at the back of the end zone. Some frustration for Nick.
Nat Moore and Mark Clayton caught a few in that same location, I bet. Here where the Orange Bowl used to be. Fastball inside to Lewis Brinson. Here in the bottom of the 6th. Eduardo Ramos is in the ball game. 25-year-old from Caracas, Venezuela, in his 3rd major league season.
He's off to a great start. .77 ERA. 14 strikeouts, 44 batters faced. It's very, very good numbers. 31.8%. Holy cow.
He finished last year with an 0.93 over the last 16 appearances. And now 2-1 on Brinson. Lewis 0 for 2 with an RBI. Cut out and missed, 2-2. Good ball game tonight. A lot going on here. 6-4 Marlins. Game 4 of the 6-game homestand. There's Claw up, getting ready perhaps for the 7th. High fly ball giving chase is Hoskins. Count stays 2-2.
Yadiel Rivera on deck. The battle of the bullpens is what tonight has turned into. You see the score. Starters chased early. Both bullpens very active.
Swing and a miss. He went after the breaking ball for the strikeout, 1 out here in the 5th.
Big breaking ball to the outside corner. All right, let's go back and take a look. We talked about this at the beginning of the ball game. Now, Arrieta has been outstanding this season. We know that. 3 wins, quality starts. We talked that all up at the beginning of the ball game, but against the Marlins this year, here's what you want to see. 4 innings, 74 pitches. Outstanding job. Listen, it's not just as simple as saying, oh, okay, well, we're going to drive up a pitch count and we're going to walk, 6 times in a ball game. That's not just the way it works. Deep counts, fouling off pitches, putting the ball in play at the right time, you find can drive up a pitch count. So Jake Arrieta walks out here, he probably feels like he walked 6 guys. He only walked 2. You know what I'm saying? And that's really what it comes down to. And you're still able to drive that pitch count up and get him out of the ball game early.
2-0 on Yadiel Rivera, pinch hitting here with 1 out in the 6th inning of a 6-4 Marlins lead. They did a great job against him, and that's what Mattingly talked about before the game. Make him work for his outs. And the Marlins' approach, even in the losses this year, has been much better. It's big tonight, though, in this game. May get overlooked. Merandy Gonzalez going 2 innings and getting 2 scoreless from your reliever when Australia only went 4 innings. That's important.
He bridged the gap successfully.
Good at bat here for Rivera, 2-2.
You and I talked about this in the pregame show today. Talking about what the job the bullpen does. So when you get a starter that goes short, doesn't give you at least, in most managers' mind, 5 or 5+. Somebody's got to bridge the gap to Bearclaw, Steckenrider, Ziegler. See, that's how it works. So you can end up using a few different guys there or 1 guy.
Outstanding pitch there by Ramos. Strikes out Rivera looking. Here's a message brought to you by FPL.
At FPL, we're using technology to help us keep reliability high and bills low. That's how we're changing the current.
Top of the order, JT Realmuto, 1 for 3. A double, scored a run in the 4th inning. One of 5 doubles for the Marlins, season high in this ball game. And 1-1 now to JT Realmuto. Did he offer it that? No, says Jeremy Rehack, first base umpire. Count of 2-1.
Well, I know it's early. Craig, don't want to get too excited, but JT's looked so good and obviously had a great road trip. But one thing we know about JT is that JT is a tremendous road hitter. Always has been. But there's early signs and early indicators that he is going to be better at Marlins Park this year. Great numbers on the average, right? So you take the great road numbers, maybe some down home numbers, and it ends up being still a really good season for him. But the point is that if his numbers at home elevate, then all of a sudden we start talking about all-star chances, right?
Absolutely. Fastball there is 3-2. I mean, there's no reason when you look at his swing and the way he plays that he should be even, you think, just as good a hitter here. He's not a guy who hits a lot of balls to the warning track where they're out on the road, but at home they're not. There's a lot of green area here. That one is popped up, third base side, going to be near the line. Franco going to give it a look and leans in but can't get it.
Well, if I told you, well, no doubt. I mean, listen, JT is, in my personal opinion, and I watch a lot of baseball, top 2 offensive catchers in the National League right now. I mean, everything that he does. And then you throw in the speed dynamic, which is also part of his game. He had 227 at home last year. That's shocking to me. I mean, I've looked at it a few different times, over the last week or so as JT's made his way back, and I just think, really, how's that even possible last year?
Wow, and that's why he had 278 for the season.
Right, that's right.
303 the year before.
300 on the road.
That one is chopped, tough play, and you're not going to get JT Realmuto, and that's one of the reasons that he has a good average as well. He's got speed too, so I think it's just one of the anomaly, just a wacky stat. He's been an amazing road hitter. Maybe that'll even level off more, and he'll find that 300 spot in a different way.
Well, if you're going to chop a breaking ball, use home plate. I learned that at an early age. I wasn't very good at it, but watch this. Yeah, that's right. It goes farther off the plate. So when the ball's up in the air, almost like a turf hit, you've got to wait for it to come down. Kingery knows he's really got no shot, even if he picks that ball clean, of getting JT of his second hit.
Is that still a Baltimore chop when it is the plate?
Yeah, sure, why not? Same coast.
Here's Martin Prado. Realmuto on with 2 outs. Prado's 1 for 3, singled and scored in the third.
Well, he is back, he is happy, he is healthy, and he looks productive. He's got that look in his eye in batting practice, executing his game plan, going out there, spraying the ball around the field. You can watch a guy, you watch him long enough, and you can kind of tell. I know last year was obviously a very disconnected year for him. Only 37 games. Just a lot of time, and he is excited and thrilled to be back.
There's Tommy Hunter. Pickup in the offseason, returned from the DL recently for the Phillies. Big right-hander. JT is going, looking for his second steal, diving in. Did the tag get him? No. He slid under it. And that's his second stolen base of the year.
Alfaro, a strong arm, but a high throw. This is on a slider. Watch how high Kingery has to go. Now watch JT. Kingery comes in front of the bag to take that. And that extra foot right there that you see, the difference between him and where first base is the difference between the glove and where JT is. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Did he get him on the backside?
Boy, second look there. Phillies are going to challenge.
From behind. From that angle, he definitely is. I'm not so sure. First angle, I was 100% sure.
Yeah, it's amazing at a different angle. The first one, it didn't look like he hit him at all.
Well, the Philadelphia Phillies have allowed the most stolen bases in the National League this year, coming in 23 stolen bases. Now you know why the Marlins have been at it and running.
Is there any question that he did catch him?
I need to see it from another angle. Really, I'm not sure. Like, it seems to me that he did, but are you 100% sure that there's no space between?
Does the pant move at all? Let's see.
Well, it really doesn't.
Yeah, they're going to give it to him now. That was close, though. That was not as easy as that looked. So they give him the caught stealing. We'll go to the 7th. Marlins lead by 2. Alexander Bogaerts in the third with a grand slam, a 5-run inning. Red Sox trailed 3-0 in the first, now lead 8-5. They're playing in the top of the sixth. Red Sox are 20-7, but they have been mortal of late. They're 5-5 in the last 10, and with the Yankees winning 9 straight, that lead all of a sudden is just 2 games in the American League East. Here's Kyle Bearclaw on the pitch, inning number 7 in this 2-run ball game.
Bearclaw pitched 2 times in the Rockies series, including picking up his first save of the season a couple of days ago. Good to see. He's been pitching very, very well. Only touched up in 1 outing this year.
Top of the order here for the Phillies. Cesar Hernandez leading off. He's 1 for 3 with a double. Fakes a bunt, takes a ball. Yankees are trailing Houston. Another interesting series for them. They swept the Angels, and now they go to Houston. They're trailing 2-0, bidding for their 10th straight win. Tonight, Astros going for their 20th win. They're 19-10, lead the West by 2.
Bearclaw, good history against the Philadelphia Phillies. It's his 19th game, 2.75 ERA.
And he's gone 3-0 here on Hernandez. That's been the one issue with Bearclaw. They don't hit him very much. Hitting just a little over 150, but he has walked 7 in 11 2/3, 21 strikeouts. And 4 pitches. Brings the potential tying run to the plate in Rhys Hoskins.
This season, the Marlins are collaborating with local lifestyle brand Life for an exclusive t-shirt collection. During select games, you'll be able to get a Marlins-inspired Life brand t-shirt with a special bundled ticket to the game. For games and dates, to purchase your collection before, visit marlins.com/offers.
Really cool. A lot of the Marlins are wearing that teal, the 3rd shirt over that you saw in the clubhouse, as Rhys Hoskins stands in. Original colors of the Marlins. They'll be wearing those, what's the San Diego series, right, in June? They'll be wearing the old throwback Florida Marlins jerseys. Hoskins 0 for 2 and a walk.
A good breaking ball. Thinking back, his first appearance against the Colorado Rockies, Craig, he kind of touched on it. Didn't end up giving up a run, but walked 3, struck out 2 that day. He made a lot of trouble for himself and was able to get out of that trouble. Thinking back to that outing, of course, it was just a few days ago. The slider is what got him locked back in.
One and 2.
Interesting to watch sometimes. That fastball will be erratic for him around the strike zone, and you go right back to that breaking ball in a big spot. He dials it in, and I'll tell you, hitters just do not pick it up. I think he's a hitter, you know, maybe even a right-hander. Maybe if you see it 3 times, you got a shot, but I've seen very, very few good aggressive swings the first time they see his breaking ball.
Did he go? Yes, he did. So a big strikeout on Rhys Hoskins as he came back with that off speed, the breaking ball.
Sometimes he makes it look easy, right? Strike zone, or excuse me, in the zone, in the dirt. That's what you want to do. Get Hoskins thinking about it. Unable to hold up. Bearclaw has picked up a strikeout now in 12 of 13 games this season.
Jeremy Rehack with the call over there at first base. So here is Odubel Herrera. He's 1 for 2 with a walk.
Careful
Dangerous
with Herrera.
hitter.
Yeah,
Yep.
He's got some numbers against Bearclaw too. 2 for 5.
I like that stance he has. That right foot, it's almost on the line.
I do like it. I mean, I certainly know what he's looking to do as far as his body and keeping his weight back and getting, you know, energy and momentum into his swing. But it is, you know, I mean, I could never do it. I, first of all, can't get my ankle to do that. You watch that front ankle. He leans on the inside of it. It's very, dare I say, you kind of have to have a double jointed ankle, maybe? Yeah, watch that front ankle right there. He is really pressing hard down on the inside of that that right ankle.
Yeah.
You can see how his shoe's off the ground.
It seems like the pressure that he would put on that right ankle.
Right. I would feel that after I have a sore ankle.
He's got metal spikes on.
Watch, you'll see. When he gets in there and he gets comfortable, he pushes up on the right ankle, and it's on the inside that he pushes up on. There he goes.
It's like one of those softball guys ready to hit it 500 feet.
Say that after the at-bat, Craig.
Good point. 2-0 to Herrera. He's the number 3 man in the Phillies lineup. Marlins trying to tie up the season series against the Phillies. An improved ball club. They went 66-96 1 year ago. Hit in the air to left. That's going to drop in for a base hit in front of Maben. And the Phillies have 2 on here. Didn't hit it all that well, but hit in the right spot. And Aaron Altair will come up as JT chats with Kyle Bearclaw.
Yeah, as hot as Herrera has been over the last month, make decent contact, you expect great results. He gets a fastball. You're right. He was beat by the fastball. He did stay on his backside strong. Able to dump it in left field. Second hit of the night.
So here's Altair.
Well, we told you about career numbers. We would have said Rhys Hoskins is the guy to avoid, but this is not the guy you want to face with runners in scoring position.
There's that good slider on the corner.
Altair 9 for 24, 3 home runs, 375 batting average. There you go, runners in scoring position. This is what Altair has done very, very well. That's why he's in the 4th spot tonight.
Altair led the Phillies in slugging, OPS last year. And 11 of his 19 homers came in the 7th inning or later.
Well, this would be a great spot for the Bearclaw breaking ball. Think back to the at-bat. Straley got him. He's able to get ahead and use the breaking ball to get the swing and the miss.
Oh, that got through Realmuto. That's costly. That'll move up the runners into scoring position at both 2nd and 3rd now.
Right through the wickets. They'll rule out a wild pitch. That slider did bounce. JT will probably tell you he wanted to keep that in front.
Pop back out of play. 1-2 now to Altair. Outfield plays pretty much straight away. A little shade to right for Anderson.
This is a really, really pivotal spot in this ball game. Here's the other reason. You want to be able to bury that breaking ball. The confidence has got to be there with JT. Even though the wild pitch happened a couple pitches ago, you've got to get it down in the zone.
He did, and it was blocked. Just like you said there, Todd. 2-2.
Nice job by JT. Looking to get Altair to chase. Not looking for contact in any way.
Marlins infield is back up the middle, so they'll give up the run for the out with a 2-run lead here. Corners are midway. Fouled straight back. Stays 2-2.
Yeah, I like the sequencing right now. Bearclaw trying to get vertical for Altair. Set up a couple of more baseballs. He may have gotten a swing and a miss.
2-2 pitch. Line foul, out of play. We'll do it again.
It's a very interesting spot that Altair finds himself in. He's trying to defend the elevated fastball at the top of the zone. That's why you see him why he's so late on it, because he's got that slider in the back of his mind. He's trying to see Bearclaw's slider.
Didn't go after it. Good take by Altair, 3-2. Is that just a hitter seeing the baseball well, or is just a little bit out of the zone to make him chase?
I mean, again, we only see these guys so often, but you know, the numbers don't lie. Altair's been ripping the cover off the ball, particularly in this situation. So clearly he's seeing the ball really, really well. But the other thing that you have to consider is that there's still a base open. The hot hitter's in the box right now with a base open.
3-2 pitch. Came inside.
It's not a bad walk. It is not, Craig. It's not a bad walk. You've got the base open, and you've got a, well, dare I say, a cooler Santana coming to the box with a force out at any base and the potential for a double play, as opposed to the hottest hitter they've got with runners in scoring position making his way down to first. So not a bad walk.
So here's Santana. His average has dipped down to 155 on the season. He's 0 for 3 in the game. Well, last time up, he hit that ground ball up toward the middle that Prado fielded.
That'll work.
You take that here. The interesting thing is that in this spot here, with the third baseman over, he's going to have to cover second base himself and cover it. Yes. Three men on the right side of the infield here, defending against Santana. Now Bearclaw wants to talk with Realmuto. And the Marlins are down to 3 mound visits. That dramatic action on the scoreboard, Todd.
The mound visit race.
Do you find yourself looking up though? And it doesn't.
I look for
goes 4 to 3.
I do a little bit, but nobody's gotten dangerously close yet. That's what I'm hoping for. Is like.
Then it really gets. Is he going to go?
Well, everybody's kind of trained themselves. All the coaches and managers, not just the Marlins. Everybody's telling me the same thing.
Pitch is inside.
Really, what it's done is it's eliminated some of those. I don't want to dare call them pointless meetings, but sometimes there's the occasional pointless meeting.
Right.
And the point is that nobody's really, at least in my eyes, has even come anywhere near it.
And then they start adding him on in the extra innings, we've seen a few times.
That's right. 3's been the low number.
Big spot in the ball game. Bases loaded, 1 out. Marlins leading by 2. Pickoff play at second. That worked in the Rockies series.
Well, I love the idea, but it's a high-risk pickoff attempt. Could potentially have worked, but everything needs to be perfect. Bearclaw's got to have a perfect throw to second.
Bearclaw taking his time here. Nick Whitgren continues to loosen up. That pitch down low and in the dirt. 2-0 now to Santana. Nowhere to put. Carlos Santana is a very patient hitter.
Well, Phillies are starting to keyhole Bearclaw, forcing him into the zone. He's got swing and miss stuff, but he's got to stay ahead of the Philly hitters. He's falling behind, so the strike zone's shrinking.
That fastball is over. Good spot. Top of the zone on the corner. So now, how does that affect this big pitch coming up?
Yeah, he still has to be careful. Santana is still in the driver's seat here. He's ahead 2-1. That's why he was willing to take the 2-0 pitch to see if Bearclaw could do it.
2-1 offering. That is down low. It was a fastball, 94, but 3-1 now. Ooh, tough spot here.
certainly is. Bearclaw now up 23 pitches this inning. He is laboring. He is working hard out there.
That's rip foul. Hard strike. And a full count now on Carlos Santana. Big signing in the offseason. They had Tommy Joseph for a while, and they let him go. Texas claimed him on waivers. Once called the real deal by Pete McCannon, their manager. Had some home run pop, but they had a chance to bring in Santana. Good on-base guy, a power guy. Payoff pitch. Hit in the air softly, right field coming in. Anderson diving. He's got it. And the runners have to go back.
Wow.
What a catch.
Wow. From Brian Anderson. Full extension. And he picks up a huge break. Bad base running by the Phillies. All right. Short pop into right field. Look at Anderson, full extension forward, comes up, makes the catch. Hernandez at third base thought it was going to fall in. Two of the three runners were looking to advance. Watch this. Nobody goes back. They're in no man's land. Oh my. Huge break for the Marlins.
Wow, so Scott Kingery comes up now. Or Anderson's only been in right field a few games too.
Oh, fantastic. Listen, we talked about those instincts. He saw the ball up, he knew it was in front of him, so he accelerated through the catch. Full extension forward, big play.
Todd, how many times you see those little looping flies? They find the grass here at Marlins Park.
In that situation with the bases loaded, you cannot roll the dice that that ball is going to drop. You roll the dice that the ball's going to be caught, and then if it drops, then you hurry home.
Especially at third base.
Absolutely. And that is a big no-no by the Phillies. That that could be a game changer.
The Phillies are lucky that the Marlin infielders were not one of them on second base. But Castro had a sort of respect, maybe going after it himself. So nobody was at second. They would have doubled him up on that play. You saw how far that Herrera was down from second. He was 60 feet off second base.
I think he was watching Hernandez. Step on home.
And there it is. He made contact, and that's it. So the Marlins wiggle out of it. Thanks to some great defense by Brian Anderson. And a jam shot there off the bat of Kingery. It stays 6-4 through 6.5.
We just getting started. Looking at my real girl, ain't nobody in my way.
We the best.
We just getting started.
Another one.
We just getting started.
Let's win.
We just getting started. Looking at my real girl, ain't nobody nobody in my way.
Hands up. Let's go. We the best.
A little bit of everything tonight as we go to the bottom of the 7th. I'm Craig Benervini in for Paul Severino with Todd Hollingsworth, Jessica Blaylock. It's 6-4 Miami as we go to the bottom of the 7th. Tommy Hunter is in. Pedro Florimon is in at shortstop for the Phillies. And Hunter in at pitching. And he moves up to the 6th spot in the order. Florimon in the ninth spot in the order. Prado hits one right at Cesar Hernandez. And let's go down to the aforementioned Jessica Blaylock.
Hey guys, JT Riddle playing in all 9 innings of a rehab game for the New Orleans Baby Cakes, and it's going well so far. Tonight, Riddle 2 for 3 at the plate with a single and a double. A couple of great defensive plays as well, so we could possibly see the return of JT Riddle in the next few days.
Thank you, Jessica. The return has been the big story of the homestand for the Marlins. Wei-Yin Chen, Dan Straley, Martin Prado, and potentially JT Riddle soon. Starlin Castro's having a big game. You mentioned before his at-bats tonight that the one thing he hasn't done, maybe the only thing, is slug. He's had a good average, a lot of singles, driven in some runs. No homers yet. But tonight, how about that? 2 doubles and an RBI and a walk.
Well, it's fair to say he's been their most consistent hitter. Now, you're right. Maybe you think that there's going to be more opportunities for slugging percentage. I certainly understand where you're going with that. But it's not a change in approach. You know, Starlin's not going to all of a sudden, halfway through his career, start to do something different because he's not slugging well enough in the month of April. It's the contact rate, which has been good. He's hitting, as you see, 306 on the season. So sometimes that contact will just come and it'll turn itself into gappers and probably a few long balls. But there's been a time or two he stepped in the box and he says, you know, I've got 99 home runs too. I mean, he's been sitting on it all season, right? So sometimes you add a little pressure.
Starlin hit 16 last year, 21 the year before. Now that was Yankee Stadium. Before that, trending a little more in the 11 to 14 category. 3-2, and this ballpark obviously is a difficult home run park, but in that number 3 spot, the key for really, no matter what, is just driving the runs in however you want to do it. And tonight he got his 10th RBI. Chopper up the middle. Kingery going to play it. Can he get him? Took a little while. No, he's not going to get him. Infield hit, 3-hit game for Starlin Castro. Florimon rather over there at short.
High chopper over the mound. We've seen this a few times tonight. Challenging the Philadelphia Phillies shortstop. Let's see one time in slow motion. Yeah, safe. 3rd hit of the night. There you go. Before the ball gets to the interior of the glove. Nice job by Starlin hustling down the line. 4th Marlins infield hit.
Here's Derek Dietrich. Derek is 1 for 3. RBI double in the 3rd inning.
Perfect night for Castro. He's in that walk, 3 for 3.
Castro goes back over there.
Tommy Hunter, fastball, cutter, curveball, does throw hard. 94, 96 miles an hour. Throws the cutter about half the time. Sits in that 92, 93 range. Does have a big curveball. Not throwing it as much this year.
It's Castro's 3rd multi-hit game. He goes and broken bat. Another hit and run. Foul ball. 3rd multi-hit, 3-hit game for Castro.
Well, hit and run gives you the opportunity to swing, and you know you're swinging before the ball leaves its hand. You see Derek Dietrich right there. That's the cut fastball from Tommy Hunter. I think he's hunting his knuckles, able to pull it in and fight it off with a tough pitch to hit and run on.
You like the way the Marlins are playing aggressively. Maybe it's a little easier with the lead to dictate that, Todd, but we've seen it really in the homestand.
Completely agree. Two things that stand out against the Philadelphia Phillies coming in, right? Phillies have won 8 of 10 against the Marlins. They've called the shots. We've seen homers. We've seen lots of guys on base. Go back to the beginning of the year, that series in Philadelphia, very much the same story. What you've seen tonight is how can we flip the script on them? All right, how do we get them to play our game? Run, take full advantage of the fact that the Phillies, they've struggled defensively, and we've seen a little bit of that tonight. They've given up the most stolen bases in the National League. We've seen Marlins runners running tonight.
Dietrich strikes out on that pitch. Second out of the inning, brings up Brian Anderson.
Great game planning, Craig.
Teheran Guerrero. Now you get a look at the 8th inning, it appears, for Miami. Anderson having a big night. 2 for 3, 2 RBIs, and how about that catch he made in the top of the 7th inning?
Like he's been out there more than 3 times.
Yeah. That outfield glove that he's borrowing from Garrett Cooper or Austin Dean is paying off. That extra inch over his third base glove. He was thinking about going out with the third base glove, but then he got comfortable enough. I know you're grimacing over there.
You want as much, you know.
Tell the people what's the difference.
You want as much glove length as you possibly can get, because you're making, most of the time, you're making catches on the run. And things change. You know, you talk about how big these ballparks are. You've got variables. You've got the way the ball is slicing to the line or cutting to the line. And
pitch outside.
a number of times, if he's out there enough, he's going to find out. He's going to pick a route, and the ball may change off that route. That's where you need those extra inches on your glove. You'll catch one in the snow at the snow cone. Like all of a sudden you thought it was coming right here, and then it's 5 feet farther to your right, and you're like, I better accelerate and reach, and you end up making a great catch.
Were you one of those guys who had your hand even further out from the glove, like a lot of palm showing?
I wore it just on, yes, I just wore it on my fingers. That's
and
correct.
Then you get even more in terms of the length of that mitt. 1 and 2. It always amazed me because I never saw that in an amateur level, that somebody would have a glove. But you guys occasionally have half your palm sticking out of that glove for the length, and it could be a big difference.
You've been hanging around this game long enough. You know we fight for everything, man. You fight for inches, you fight for dirt, you fight for space.
1-2 pitch driven well, left center field, deep, going, it's gone, way out of here. What a night! Have one, Brian Anderson, 4 RBIs.
Second big league home run for Brian Anderson. You are right, Craig. What a night he is having. My goodness. High up on the home run sculpture. Well, that's the velocity. Fastball, not a cutter, straight. Two-seamer, stayed up at the belt. He knew he got it right away.
When Martin Prado came back, Don Mattingly said it very simply. You hit, we'll find a spot. Don't worry about it. They put him in right field. He's been hitting, and he's even been playing defense out there. And the Marlins are stronger for it. (8-4) Miami.
Now, what a way to finish April for Mr. Anderson. 4 RBIs tonight.
2 big runs for the Marlins in the 7th to extend the lead thanks to Brian Anderson's second career homer. And a big catch, which may trump even all the great hits, as the Marlins lead 8-4. Craig Minervini with Todd Hollandsworth here. And boy, you couldn't ask for more here from a defensive aspect and a hitting aspect. Big hits for Miami tonight.
4 RBIs for Anderson. I mean, we're so excited for the young man. His second big league home run. I think maybe his most convincing offensive performance here in the month of April. Fair to say, maybe even his career. But how about the defensive play in right field? When you go back to the moment, I mean, the timing and the setup, I mean, with the bases loaded, Philly's got momentum. He comes up clutch, and then you catch a break by the bad Phillies base running. I mean, this thing feels like it's back in control again. It was teetering there, but he's the one who made the play, right?
Absolutely
and then increases the lead. Good to see.
Yeah, what an inning and what a game for Brian Anderson. He's not alone here tonight. Pitching has done a nice job of relief with Dan Straley. Gonzalez, Bearclaw got out of that jam. Now Teheran Guerrero will pitch the 8th inning. And he'll face Maikel Franco. He's had a very good game himself. He's been outstanding at third, and he's 1 for 2 with a walk.
Well, it has been so much fun here in the last part of April talking about some of these young Marlins growing and learning and developing, including Mr. Guerrero on the mound. Get this, Marlins fans. Last 7 appearances, 6 2/3 innings, 14 strikeouts. 14. Hitters, 2 for 22.
Ooh. 98 miles an hour, saying hello there to Maikel Franco.
And now he's pitching in the 8th inning.
Steckenrider pitched the last 2 nights. He normally has been that, well, 7th or 8th inning guy, along with Kyle Bearclaw. But it's nice that Don Mattingly has options, so he can go Guerrero. He's got the confidence in put a Guerrero. But don't forget, he was coming in the game if it was 6-4 as well. Line to center field. Brinson got a good jump on that ball. Makes it look pretty easy.
He did make it look easy. Great outfield defense once again. Boy, it has been on display here at Marlins Park tonight. Great jump. That's what this is all about. That's a little old school right there for Mr. Brinson. I like it. You know, I am a little old school, Craig.
There's that hand we were talking about, right?
Just giving it, you know, well, now that's not old school. Now that's new school. But the old school part was run them down and don't slide so you show them how fast you are, right? So you didn't have to leave your feet. Fantastic job right there. Great jump, able to run across the field and reach out even low on the leg and make the catch.
Alfaro swing and a miss. Is that called putting a little mustard on it, perhaps?
It's all right, baby.
He's having some fun.
You can show some personality in the game today. I love to see it. It's a great run and catch. That's right. He's got it.
He's having fun. Good to see.
You know, this ballpark's built for him. It's built for his style of play, his style of center field play.
He is just a charming guy to be around. And he loves wearing that Marlins jersey. And he's had a few struggles at the plate. We all know, we've talked about it. He's coming out of it, had some big hits too, but defensively, not at all. He has been outstanding in center field. Jorge Alfaro has helped the bottom of that Phillies order. They've driven in the 4 runs, 2 by Franco and 2 by Alfaro, both on homers. Which is nice for Gabe Kapler's club, because Alfaro came in hitting just 193. The lefty Zach Curtis, just named, called up to the ball club, was in the pen. Andrew Knapp, the other catcher's hitting just 170. One-two pitch from Teheran Guerrero. Fastball swing and a miss. 99.
That's like a heavyweight fight right there. Me versus you. Here it comes. 3 fastballs in the zone. 97 plus all of them. The last one 99 miles an hour. Now Guerrero many times wins this battle. He does once again.
26th strikeout in now 14 innings for Tayron Guerrero. Pedro Florimon is up. He came in the game last inning in a double switch, brought Tommy Hunter in. Taking over for Kingery at shortstop.
Guerrero just hit triple digits.
Ooh, fisted off. Ouch.
101.
Potentially.
It's just warming up. It's been getting stretched out at about 10 pitches now. It's back-to-back 100-mile-an-hour pitches.
Oh, 2 pitch. What's coming? 102. And the crowd reacting on the board. Another fastball, and he struck him out on 98. 27th strikeout of the year for Tayron Guerrero, a 1-2-3 8th. The Marlins leading 8-4 in Miami. Eighth inning, time now for our Toyota Inside Look. This may surprise you. Youngest teams in Major League Baseball, the Phillies are #1. Yankees are up on that list. Reds, Sox, Pirates, the Marlins, middle of the pack in terms of an average age. But that can be skewed with, you get a couple of veterans, throw the numbers off a little bit.
You can do whatever you want with that. I think it's very interesting to see the Philadelphia Phillies there. I think that's probably surprising to our eyes, right? But at the same time, you talk about you know, average baseball age and years. It's more along the lines of baseball experience.
Zach Curtis went to Middle Tennessee State, 25-year-old lefty from Panama City, Florida. Called up today. 5'10", 175-pound left-hander. A lot of hair.
Tell you what, boy, they told me you were perceptive.
Yes. It's fouled off. I don't like DeGrom with the short hair. I liked his look.
You like the long hair.
I don't know, for him it looked. We haven't seen Curtis, so he's got the specs.
He's got a little everything going on.
Yeah. Rojas 1 for 3 in the game. And he pops it up. Now Faro, not easy. He makes the catch. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live at home, in the office, or on the go at MLB.tv. Your subscription includes MLB at Bat Premium, allowing you to watch live baseball on your favorite supported devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. Here's Lewis Brinson with Justin Bohr. That's good to see. Going to get a pinch hit opportunity. Been out with some back spasms last few days. Took BP though today. And based on that pinch opportunity coming up, I would expect to see him in the lineup tomorrow if he's feeling good after the game.
Took batting practice today. Looked good.
Chopper. It'll be tough to throw him out. Franco's got a big arm, but he can't field it. Went off his hand, and that'll be an infield hit for Lewis Brinson.
Well, the hits are coming in bunches tonight. Fastball up and away. It's over the top of it. Slow roller to the left side. Watch the left side of this Phillies infield. It's got to be at least their 4th attempt at a bare hand tonight. And nobody has really been able to come up with the baseball. It is a do-or-die play. Brinson's speed certainly down the line. 5th infield hit for the Marlins.
He made the throw, though. He didn't have the ball.
Well, then he gets to be safe.
Did you see?
That's right.
The follow-through. Here's Justin Bohr. Brinson is a threat over there at first base, although we really haven't seen him get the running game going. Got a stolen base. That is an art as well, something that will develop, I think, in his game. And Bohr takes a strike. JB hitting 250.
Curtis fastball slider change. A little hole to the right side. You see Brinson getting his lead, Santana holding him on. That's actually why I know he's not going to go. I'd be shocked if he did. Curtis the lefty on the mound as well.
Fouls it off. You'd love to give Bohr a shot at a 2-run blast as well. Bohr is in his first game in 3. And he's hitting 12 of his last 15 too. Good to see. Well over 300. Brinson goes back. Dan Straley started this game for Miami, went 4 innings, allowed 6 hits and 4 runs. I think, though, as you mentioned earlier, Todd, there's a lot to like about the game tonight. He gave up the 2 homers, but kind of managed the game for a little bit. Probably didn't have his best stuff, but just good to get him back out there.
Well, there'll be some challenges as we kind of mapped out. There weren't necessarily ideal numbers coming into tonight. We know it's his first start of the year, even going back to last year, and he faced the Philadelphia Phillies late last year a number of times, and I think there was just a few storylines kind of going into tonight. So we talk about what Dan does well. I mean, we've seen him at times. There'll be base runners, but he can get big outs, the ground ball, double play when he needs to. I think there was a couple of different spots tonight he wiggled out of some trouble. You're right, a couple of home runs gets him, but all in all, something to build off of.
So Brad Ziegler, even though the Marlins have a 4-run lead here, and this isn't a spot where he had to be up. The Marlins just want to get him the 9th inning. There are spots where they have him warming up and then maybe they extend their lead in the bottom of the 8th and they still bring him in because they warmed him up. 2-2 pitch to Bohr. Hit in the air to center field. Herrera for the 2nd out. Here's JT, a good night for him, 2 for 4.
Both those hits coming in his last 2 at-bats, double in the 4th, field single in the 6th.
sharply hit the shortstop, Florimon, over to Hernandez for the fielder's choice. So that'll end the 8th inning. We'll go to the 9th with the Marlins leading by 4. Kubota.com. By Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center in pursuit of your cure. And by your South Florida Honda dealers. Nice shot, Magic City. As we go to the top of the 9th, Marlins going for their 5th win in 6 games. Craig Minervini, Todd Hollandsworth, Jessica Blaylock. Jessica have a special guest after the game. See if Brad Ziegler can finish off the Phillies here in the 9th inning with a 4-run lead.
Ziegler outstanding yesterday. 9 strikeouts on the season. Picked up a couple of them yesterday in his last outing. That's what really when I want to rant and rave about. His sinker was awesome yesterday. He had a great changeup and a good slider. It's the best I've seen Ziegler this year, in fact. Just my opinion, but it was. So we know he hangs out at the bottom of the strike zone. See the fastball from underneath, 84, 85 miles an hour. He'll throw the changeup in the 70s along with the slider as well.
Cesar Hernandez 1 for 3 and a walk in the game. Did you face anybody Ziegler-like?
Well, I'm sure I did.
Nobody that you're...
Nobody's coming to mind. I mean, it's not like I faced somebody for an extended period of time in my career like I faced him like, 10, 15 times. I'm sure there's a few submariners in there. I was trying to stay on the ball, keep my front shoulder in, don't pull off.
Line smack, one bouncer to Prado, playing him perfectly right on the grass. Preventing against the bunt as well, and he makes the play. Nicely done. Sharp defensive game for the Marlins again tonight.
Well, you're absolutely right. Part of the developing conversation over the last, week to 10 days when we kind of rant and rave about the pitching, the defense behind the pitching. And the pitching's trusting the defense right now. And when you make plays like that, you're more inclined to throw strikes, right? Attack hitters. Let the guys play some defense behind you.
Marlins led the league majors in fielding last year, and this year there's a ground ball. Another nice play at shortstop. Rojas, what a play on Hoskins.
Tell you what, Mickey Rose always got my back. He's done that a few times this year. You know what, you rant and rave about the defense and you say, all right, you want some good defense, here you go. How about it to the backhand? I'm going to say less than a second. He's up on his feet. Good strong throw across the diamond. Leads right there, good stretch. Well done. Defense spectacular.
Todd, I star the defensive plays. I don't know if you do that. I have 5 stars tonight, and they were some big plays for the Marlins there. You see Rojas flexing a little bit.
That is his throwing hand. That's the hand he goes down to the ground with. See, and again, he looks like he's all right. Gave a thumbs up.
Odubel Herrera standing in, a 2 for 3 game with a walk.
Ziegler does. A couple of ground ball outs.
There's two. Straley had 4 strikeouts. Bearclaw and Guerrero a couple each. Ziegler looking to put away Herrera. And a fly ball, a little pop actually, just out of play. Into the camera well. John Tuitu with his new protective screen there. Our third base cameraman. John's trying to copyright that from what I understand. Get a patent on it. Here's the 0-2 pitch.
Now, we've done a lot of talking about Rhys Hoskins, have we not, Craig? I know
Yes.
we've certainly kept up with everything he's done against the Marlins. So this is his 14th game, right? Crazy numbers, 8 homers, bunch of RBIs. 14 games. This is the first time the Marlins have held him hitless in a game. 0 for 5 tonight. Well, trust me, I've seen them all. And I knew as soon as I looked at it, I was like, boy, he hasn't been on base tonight, has he?
Yeah. Well, he had a good shot there, but Rojas made a great play on him. He hasn't hit the ball hard either. There's a tricky play over to first. Dietrich throwing to Ziegler, and he got him at first base. Dietrich to Ziegler. Phillies are saying, hang on, they're going to look at it, of course. Marlins are delaying their celebration. And Gabe Kapler says this ball game is over. Ziegler got there, and that is fitting that the Marlins would finish on a nice defensive play.
Totally agree, Craig. Outstanding night tonight. 3 ground ball outs for Ziegler. Job well done. Bullpen got it done. Offense showed up tonight. It's been fun. Tell you what, this is most wiggle room this Marlins team has had in a little while. Good to see the offense come alive. 8 runs, lots of pop, doubles, homers. How about it?
Yes, it wasn't just offense tonight. You're right. Those were big hits. The 13 hits in the ball game, but their defensive plays were outstanding. And key plays, because the Phillies kept pecking away. You know, the Phillies thought they were getting back in this game, taking the lead somewhere.
Well, and you're right. You get back to the Anderson catch in right field in the 7th with the bases loaded. Of course, who comes up, right? We know the baseball adage, right? You make a great play on defense, you get to hit the following inning. He shows back up again, and oh yeah, that right. The home run sculpture in center field, it still works. That's right. About halfway up the home run sculpture.
Well, how many times, Todd, do you not only make the great play, but hit the homer in the same inning? You don't see that a lot when you make that great play. So the Marlins win it 8-4, make it 5 wins in 6 games for the Marlins. Won the series over the Dodgers in LA, came back home, won 2 out of 3 against Colorado, and here have taken the first game against Philadelphia. Let's go down to Jessica with a special post-game guest.
Thanks so much, Craig. Joined by Brian Anderson. Brian, if you were trying to put a highlight reel together tonight, you accomplished your goal, a career high 4 RBIs and a spectacular catch in right field that we'll get to in just a second. But first, at the plate, you have never looked overwhelmed this season. How much does your confidence continue to grow when you have games like this?
You know, definitely today helped. Games like today help where, you know, you kind of find the barrel a couple times, and it seems like you're seeing the ball really well. You know, it's just a tribute to Pags and Frank. They're just, you know, kind of keeping me level, not letting me get too high, not letting me get too low, and just come to the field every day and do my routines and just try and stay with it.
Very similar to the meeting in Philadelphia. You guys got to Jake Arrieta very early. How impressed were you with the overall team approach to Arrieta?
Yeah, I think we did a great job. I think both times, you know, we did a good job of laying off the stuff that was out of the strike zone. You know, I think we made him get in the zone, and you know,
I wasn't gonna warn him that the monkey was on his way out, because you knew that was coming. But anytime the monkey makes an appearance, that means that it's a really good night. We'll give you a second to clean up. Brian, a couple things that we saw tonight. Hidden runs. stolen base attempts. You went on contact during that Miguel Rojas at bat that scored a run. Is having an aggressive mindset the way you beat a team like the Phillies?
Yeah, I think it's just a way of kickstarting our offense. You know, getting guys swinging the bat kind of early in the counts, putting pressure on the defense, putting pressure on their catchers. You know, when a guy's around the zone, it's always easy to get the runners going and just try and put something in play and make something happen.
Okay, can we get to the catch in right field now, because that was spectacular. You have only been in right field for a couple of games. Don Mattingly has said you look so comfortable. We're watching that catch right now. Unbelievable play. How are you feeling in right field, especially after a catch like that?
I think I'm definitely feeling a little better after that catch. You know, I'm just trying to make the routine plays, just trying to see the ball off the bat. You know, Freddie's been awesome. You know, early work, just kind of, getting settled in and just try to make sure I can make the routine plays. And I think that's what we're really working on. And when stuff like that happens, you just get excited about it, but that's not really what you're going for. You know, you're just trying to make sure you keep the ball in front of you.
This is overall a young team, and you guys are all learning together. How much fun has this stretch been, and the fact that you've been able to experience it with these kind of teammates?
Oh, it's awesome. You know, our team has been really coming together over the last couple of games. You know, we've been having good series. You know, our pitching staff's been doing an incredible job for us. You know, it just seems like we're starting to come together a little bit.
Appreciate the time. Congratulations on the win. Craig, back up to you.
Thank you very much, Jessica. Big night for Brian Anderson, knocking in 4 and that second career homer. He's got 16 ribbies now in the year, and he had a big game over in right field as well. Stay tuned later for the Marlins Live postgame show coming up next, presented by WB Mason. Jessica and Jeff, more on Anderson coming through and more on the Marlins getting aggressive on the base pass, and that was impressive tonight. And you've seen that on the homestand as well. So the Marlins do a great job. They've won 3 out of 4 in the homestand, 5 out of 6 overall. And they take the Phillies tonight, 8-4, handing Jake Arrieta his first loss as a Phil. Postgame show is coming up.